Okay. Hello. I'm live. We were waiting for the game to load. I apologize for the delay. As I mentioned, I was installing some mods, which I think should be all set, but blank screen, as since we're waiting. I'm gonna also make sure my controller's working properly. Oh, no, it was. It just wasn't lit up. Now it is. All right. Anyway, while we wait for it to load, good evening, everyone. Hello, and welcome back to Dragon Age Inquisition. Not that you can tell that's what we're playing as of yet, but it will be. We will be loading in shortly. You can't see it. There's a little loading logo, like right here, like underneath my shoulder. Also, I changed my lighting as well, and I've been fiddling with my technical settings lately, these last few weeks. I don't know. Tell me what you think. Is it too dark? Is it nice and cozy? Am I weirdly pale? It seems like I'm weirdly pale, despite this being a far warmer light source than I'm used to. I don't know. It's a new thing. I'm just thinking about it, giving it a try. Still waiting to load the game. Apparently because the mods I fiddled with and updated their settings for. Maybe I shouldn't have done this. Well, I mean, to be fair, I started this process an hour and a half ago. I thought it would be done by now. Turns out I was terribly incorrect. In any case, hi everyone. How's it going? Just working on getting set up. I thought loading screen meant it was going to be loading in any moment, so I'm just having to vamp here. Howdy, Kevin. Ah, there we go. We're in. Kevin says, howdy, friends. Happy birthday to the spicy queen. Her wit is so sharp, and her foes are deadly before they even... are dead, not deadly. I mean, they were deadly, not anymore. Sorry, I'll read your comment prop... What? Controller should be detected. Hello, it's on. I need to fiddle with it. Anyway, sorry. Her wit is so sharp that her foes are dead before they even start bleeding. It's very anime. Again, controls. Gamepad. Yeah. Back. Yeah, I know, but, like, okay, hold on. Oh, wait. Hold on. I can fix this, I promise. Controls. No, what? When the game is start... Are you kidding me? You've got to be kidding me. Okay. Fine. Sorry. We'll be right back. Okay, the light's on now. See it? See this? Light. There's a light on. Means it's working. Ridiculous. Okay, give me a minute. Give me a minute. Let me relaunch. I've been having endless technical difficulties on my Dragon Age streams, despite this only being the third. But still, to be fair though, the last two had nothing to do with the game. The game was functioning just fine. No problems. Smooth as butter. But now look at this. Alright, we're back. Okay. I promise that black screen is actually the black screen of the game this time, and now it is. It's not just no input detected for the moment. Give it a minute, it'll be back. It'll be good. Oh my gosh. I hope. It's a little freezy. Oh my gosh. Okay, here, let's see. In the meantime, I'm gonna open my very last of my Elysian pumpkin ales. This is another Punkachino. This is the coffee one. The better of the two coffee ones, if I recall. The one that actually tastes like coffee and not just and pumpkin, and not just trying to be pumpkin spice yada yada blah blah, whatever that is. Oh yeah. No, see, that's actually really good. Can I just... Okay, I have to click. Because Got the settings wrong. All right, hold on. Don't strike. Don't strike me, please, for the music. Okay, great. There. All right, we're back. We're good. We're in. We're set. We are in. And I still need to keep talking over the music, unfortunately. It'd be gorgeous as this music is. EA really doesn't like... well, not EA, sorry. Ad revenue for a third-party publisher is the actual company name that keeps striking me for this title music. So it's obviously fraudulent. So if you ever get ads on these streams, ad block them. It's fraud. I don't want money going to fraudulent organizations. These bastards don't deserve a penny of it. They're stealing from me, and they're even stealing from EA, which is not usually something I mind all that much, because, I mean, I don't care for them as a company, especially not these days, but, you know, whatever. Claim an area's landmarks to make the Inquisition more knowledgeable of the local area. In other words, get experience point type stuff from doing collection quests. Be careful when exploring new regions, as enemies may be more difficult, and also the Hinterlands. There's bears that will eat your face off. Gain power and influence by sealing Fade Rifts, establishing new camps, and completing quests. In other words, there's a bunch of side quests that do stuff. As well as claiming keeps, fulfilling requisitions, and recruiting agents. Agents I can't wait for. That's a thing we're going to be doing, is we are going to be recruiting some of our companions tonight. I'm going to keep this one up, because that's pretty. That looks like... what is the sunken town? I forget what it's called. Kevin says, yeah, we're out of pumpkin spice season, aren't we? I thought it was peppermint season. Yeah, it is, but I bought these like right after Halloween. I bought a case right after Halloween. They were in clearance because it wasn't Halloween anymore. I use and abuse this weird inverted liturgical season process thing that our weird post-Christian decadent culture does. So I use and abuse it to get pumpkin-y stuff in actual pumpkin season in, you know, November. Now into December, I guess. Anyway, I did a little playing while you guys weren't around. I got new cool armor for Sable. Got a cool couple of new daggers for Sable. We can jump in this game. That's new too. And ooh, there's something here to be found. This is in Haven. What is this? The little abandoned house. Painting of a lady. Papers on a desk. Keep the notes for later. And a cheese wheel. Seems to be in good condition. Anyway, there's that. That'll come in handy at some point, maybe. Who knows? I also moved the camera down here. Hopefully this doesn't get in the way of anything. Currently it's sitting over top of my skills, my abilities. But that's just for my purposes, user interface wise. You don't really care what button stealth is mapped to, so whatever. So anyway, let's Michael might be approaching. Oh, yeah. Michael's trying to get in. Nothing. That's just the house. My house, I guess. Okay. We talked to everyone last time, I think. I don't think there's anything new to really discuss. Now, you say, here's the thing. Kevin, you say peppermint season. I say eggnog season. I actually don't have any tonight. I did on Monday. I had some wonderful, wonderful eggnog with some nutmeg ground over the top, fresh ground. Ooh, spectacular. Also, another atypical, slightly more atypical sort of Christmassy season flavor that I just really love. White chocolate. It's really the season for white chocolate, and I can't get enough of it. It's one of the things that I know Starbucks in particular does during this season that I really appreciate is they really up the white chocolate. Oh, here's Mother Giselle. She's back. We just went and recruited her last time when we went to the Hinterlands. So let's see how she's liking Haven so far.
Greetings, Herald of Andraste. How fares your quest to seal the breach?
No, Sable's upbeat. She is almost intolerably upbeat. Not damned if I know. By the way, I should mention as well, as far as plot stuff coming up, we are gonna have to decide maybe tonight whether we're gonna side with the mages or the Templars. I can talk about more details of this, but I'm leaning strongly towards mages. If only because the story is better, the mission is better, there's a cooler companion, and there's a cooler secondary antagonist throughout the rest of the game. Also, they're pretty clearly the obvious victims in the situation, more so than the Templars. So, yeah, I should say not Templars per se, rogue Templars, Templars who've left the control of the Chantry. So there's that. All right.
I'm doing everything within my power.
A task, such as closing the breach, is a heavy burden. I hope you do not carry it alone. We remember Andraste, but Andraste did not carry the Chant of Light alone. She had generals, advisors, even her husband for a time.
Until he betrayed her
Do
to her
everything
death.
within your power, but remember those who would help you.
I will try to follow in Andraste's footsteps as best I can.
If you like. But Andraste forged her own path, guided as she was by her visions. Look to Andraste for guidance, but ultimately, the Maker has made this your task to fulfill. In any case, I pray this Inquisition proves less brutal than its predecessor.
We'll see. There's an interesting tension here, right, between following the example of a previous prophet, let's say, broadly speaking, religious figure, Andraste, on the one hand, but then on the other hand, following the immediate and direct will of the Maker. This is a similar kind of dilemma we see in real world religion, right, where someone has a kind of calling or vocation from God. And it's very tempting to simply look to those who have come before, right? Especially for more traditionalist-minded type folks, myself included, let's say, and say, well, how have people done similar things before? But it's not necessarily the case that it is relevantly similar. It is a different set of circumstances, and the prophet involved here is a different person than Andraste. Very different in a lot of ways, in copious ways. And so if this is the immediate and direct will of the Maker to do all of that we're tasked with doing here, reuniting the world and sealing the breach and defeating mysterious big bad guy and all of that stuff, doing exactly what Andraste did is tempting, but it can't be quite that simple.
How are the people doing after what happened at the Conclave?
They are scared, of course. Many have lost homes or loved ones. I doubt many will sleep well until you have sealed the breach. I have offered what help I can. The rest is for the Inquisition. What more do you wish to know?
How are the villagers in Haven doing?
They are terrified. Many of them came here because the war between the Mages and the Templars destroyed their homes. In their minds, the death of a divine has destroyed any chance of peace. To that, add the breach. Farmers have fled their fields. If we do not restore order, half of Thedas may starve.
Do you have information on people elsewhere?
The refugees in the Hinterlands are desperate. Without help, starvation or war will claim many lives. Villagers in Crestwood are besieged by their own dead. They have sent word begging for
Crestwood.
assistance.
The one I was
People
thinking
are
of.
vanishing in the hills of Emprise de Lyon. It may be demons or something worse, but they are terrified. More than that I cannot say. It is a chaotic time for all in Olay and Ferelden.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do some of that very soon. But first, like I said, tonight I want to focus on our politics stuff, getting involved with the Chantry and seeing what we can do there. And, of course, getting our various companions, as many of them as we can find, as many of them as we can get. We're probably going to get at least, what? Iron Bull, Vivienne, Sarah. It might be all. Because at least, maybe probably Blackwall. There's at least, who am I missing? I know Dorian and Cole come later. But I feel like I'm missing somebody. I don't know.
What are you doing to help these people?
My sisters and I have been tending to the injured as best we are able. Some refugees come with food, while others arrive empty-handed. I have helped ensure that all have enough to eat. Beyond that, many simply wish the familiar comfort of the Chant of Light. It is little enough work to offer some comfort to those in pain.
Farewell.
Until next time.
And I mean, we have the whole... Okay. The Chant of Light is... So, it's interesting how religion is portrayed in Dragon Age. It's so central to the story, but it's not portrayed as, like, as painfully and upfrontly obvious as so many other... as so many other fantasy franchises. Religion is still something which is... It's influential on people, and it is something which manages to somehow transcend this world of dreams and magic and elves and dwarves and darkspawn and demons. And religion manages to transcend all of that still. And the Maker, I really, really like how the Maker is portrayed as above all of this, as something which is, well, as we monotheists would understand God, that than which nothing greater can be thought, the absolute, the transcendent one, everything like that. It's not every day that you see that sort of thing in a fantasy franchise, especially one so steeped with religious themes. So typically you'll get something like, well, the Wheel of Time is one example. There isn't religion per se in the Wheel of Time. There's rituals and stuff that we would reasonably be able to call religion, but there's not religion in terms of, like, devotion to God or gods or anything like that, because magic and the good and evil of magic is so very imminent. It's seen as religion, it's seen as kind of surpassing religion or making religion irrelevant, which I think is just terribly mistaken. Quite frankly, terribly naive, and a deep misunderstanding of what religion is. Religion is the utmost transcendence. It is, you know, as the religious studies scholar Paul Tillich said that religion is what one considers utmost concern, or one's utmost concern. And for a lot of people, that's God, but for a lot of people, it's not. For a lot of people, that's nationalism, or that's ideology, or that's the self, right? And for some people, as a colleague of mine has extensively argued, that's sports. Their sports team. Biblical religion has known this for all time, practically speaking. That it's ideology. It's not ideology. Why am I blanking on this term? Idolatry. My God, idolatry. It is taking something else and putting it into the place of God. And that's it's easy to do that with things that seem terribly, terribly important to us. And it's also easy to do that, especially in a world of magic and mysticism like this, to say, well, the world is full of the strange and mystical and powerful and supernatural. Yeah, but it's not supernatural in the sort of Thomistic sense that only God is, beyond and above and transcending the natural world.
Yes, Ambassador?
Let's see what Josephine's up to. Oh. No, hey, stop it.
You must want to know about the 7th most illustrious family in all Ostwick. Or is it 8th?
That is so self-deprecating, I love it.
It would be helpful to claim your kinsmen as friends. What are your thoughts? Should we approach your family for their formal support of the Inquisition?
My parents are on a first-name basis with most priests in Ostwick, and I have a dozen cousins in the Chantry. When they hear I've been touched by Andraste, you'll have to stop them from giving you money.
I'll take that as a yes.
Love it.
Valroyo has noted your lineage. It gives the Inquisition some legitimacy, although not so much as we'd hoped.
Why not?
You are from Ostwick. Orlesian nobles consider the free marches somewhat quaint.
Orlesians are just baffled free marchers governing themselves without an empress to hold their hands.
A peasant might get away with that,
Spicy. I love it.
but not someone of your stature. Speaking of which, I should thank you for your patience with the simple quarters. The accommodations in Haven are surely rough for someone of your birth.
Will676 asked, I'd like to see your take on the religions of the Elder Scrolls someday. That is somewhat... Okay. I'm not too overly familiar with the Elder Scrolls lore. I've read a good deal of the lore, just like wiki sources, that kind of thing. I've read most of the books in Skyrim, for what it's worth. In fact, I did a research project years ago, comparing the mythos of Skyrim to ancient Celtic mythology, more so than advanced developed religion. I think that the idea of a creator god whose name escapes me. Sorry if this is an issue. Feel free to supply things that I'm forgetting here. But the idea of a creator god, Lorcan, as I understand it correctly, dreaming the world into being in a sort of state of not death, but death for a god, something like that, is a weird mix of something reasonable, right? The absolute transcendence of the creator, and the absolute contingency and dependence of the physical created world. Something like that. It captures a lot of that, although there are issues with this brings up issues of determinism and free will. That interestingly, if you've been following my recent lectures, check out the on the Fall of the Devil. On free choice and on the Fall of the Devil lecture series on some of Anselm's dialogues, St. Anselm of Canterbury's dialogues. They address that issue in particular, and I think that Elder Scrolls doesn't handle it quite as well, obviously, as real life theologians. But I do think that they get something right there, that there is this absolute dependence of the created world upon the divine, upon the creator. The trouble is that Lorcan is very immanent. Not to the world, not to Mundus, but immanent in the sense of being mutable, being killed, functionally, died, and the skeleton of the world hangs on his bones, or the world hangs on Lorcan's bones, that sort of thing. Again, correct me if I'm misstating any of this. And then the Aedra are aspects of Lorcan, something along those lines, that then have an impact on the world from outside of it. And then the Daedra are the same types of beings who enter into the world, which is again a nice classical fantasy distinction. It's the kind of thing you see in Tolkien, in the distinction between the Ainur and the subset of the Ainur that become the Valar and the Maiar, who enter into the world. Right. Fair enough, fine. But they're worshipped as gods, which is an issue with the Aedra and the Daedra. And then also even Lorcan is not the kind of absolute that than which nothing greater can be thought, that you would want to attribute creation to, if you want to be sensible, reasonable, have a proper understanding of the world. So that I think they get some things interestingly right, rare that are rare to get right. But they also get some things kind of wrong. And maybe you can attribute that to a misunderstanding by mythologists in world. That's fine. That's possible. But I get the impression that I don't get the impression, let's say, that a lot of the books written about the Aedra and the Daedra are meant to be unreliable from an in-world standpoint. I don't think that's the case. I don't get that. I don't get much of that impression from most things in the game. Was that was that what you were asking about? Theology, or were you asking about religion per se? So the actual practices of worship and ritualistic behavior and that kind of thing. I assumed you were talking about theology because most people mean theology when they say religion, so I figured that. But I can go into the other side of it as well, at least to the degree that I understand it, which again is maybe even a little less so than the theology, so to speak, of the Elder Scrolls. All right. So talking about Haven. Here, so back to remind you of where the conversation was. So we're figuring out some things about Haven as best we can, because it seems odd that we just kind of show up here and it's convenient. And
this can't be what you're accustomed to, Ambassador.
One adjusts. I stay busy. It helps take my mind from our surroundings. And the world, and the wildlife, and the lack of civilization for miles around. Why anyone lived here before we found Andraste's ashes, I cannot imagine.
Well, to be fair, it was a weird cult that worshipped a dragon thinking it was Andraste and did a bunch of human sacrifices. There were a bunch of weirdos living here before we were here. So maybe that's why.
Having a few leagues of ice between me and whoever wishes me ill can't hurt.
Do not say that too loudly. Chancellor Roderick is still here. Until next time, my lady.
Gotta love the very vicious gentry politics. All right. Anyway. Where's some of our regulars? Somebody see if Eddie's around. Somebody see if Kylie's around. Alright, so we can go to the Storm Coast, but I don't want to use up my power getting there yet. We will,
in touch with our
but not yet.
in Lady Esterly's estate?
Several balls will play for her tomorrow night. We will have names soon enough.
Will says, yeah, it was about theology, lol. Okay, making sure. That's good. Particularly regarding the Elysian Order, which the writers seem to want to base off the early church and the tribunal, which are a living trinity of Dunmer gods. That's something I know very, very little about. I didn't play all of Morrowind, so I can't say too much. I only vaguely remember anything about the Elysian Order, so I couldn't tell you too much there. Okay, Kevin's going to fetch people. Cool. At least that's what I assume. Either that or, restroom. Anyway, so yeah, I can't tell you too much there. That is my initial thoughts from what little I do know. And I could be completely wrong about this, so grain of salt, is that the concept of a trinity, which is clearly an homage to Christianity, like very obviously, I don't think the concept of Trinitarianism applies to polytheism the way that it does to monotheism. The whole three gods, one persons. Oh, that is true. Erica says, don't want to bother them because I think they still have exams and projects. Eddie might. I think Kylie's done. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see what we hear. Ooh, I keep bumping this thing. I have a microphone. It's bumpy. Erica says, that's the sucky thing about a birthday today. It's always smack dab in the middle of exams. Well, you only have to really worry about that because I'm grading them at this stage of life, which is it's at least something, I suppose. Oh, speaking of, so if you want to, if anybody wants to throw a birthday present towards the wonderful Mrs. and/or Lady McCoy, right over there, you'll find a link to ko-fi.com/Professor McCoy where you can throw money at me and it'll pop up a message. And she will very happily accept this. Or at least I will happily accept it on her behalf and then give it to her. I don't know if she'll happily accept it or not, but there it is. If you'd like to say happy birthday, if you'd like to send a message, any of that stuff, it's basically super chat, but it's a third-party source that doesn't take your money like YouTube does. So there you go. Ooh, this is okay. So yeah. Anyway, before I get into this, because this is its own really interesting thing. The reason I say that I don't think Trinitarianism could possibly apply to polytheism is because for there to be three persons of one God, you would need something like the transcendence of God, such that the persons can co-indwell non-competitively. Right? You can have a sort of three-faced God, like you would have like Janus, the Roman two-faced God, but that is two aspects of the same deity, which is very, very different from a Trinity, where if you pray to the Son, you are simultaneously also praying to the Father and the Holy Spirit. If you worship the Father, you are also worshiping the Son and the Holy Spirit, because they are one. They are united in their divinity. It is something more akin to the very hard to talk about the Trinity without committing heresy, so I'll be very careful. Theologians who describe the Trinity use qua a lot. Latin term qua means as, or in respect of, or in its capacity of. God qua the Son. God qua the Father. God qua the Holy Spirit. Qua the Holy Spirit, God is within us. Qua the Son, God is bridging the gap between us and heaven. Qua the Father, God is transcendent creator. But God is all of these things. And none of them are competing with one another because God is utmost perfection. This doesn't apply to a finite being as well. Eddie's doing exams. I thought I knew that. Let him do that. If he's on later, cool. But it will be a nice break, I suppose, from finishing up exams. Thank you, Kevin. Anyway, but yeah, I don't think that Trinitarianism works for polytheism in the same way. Ironically, given that Christians were accused, or were often accused by ancient monotheists, Jews in particular, of polytheism. So, ironically, I don't think it works. All right, so let's check this out. This is a really interesting little side quest because it has something to do with the... Hello, Kylie. Welcome. Good evening. This has something to do with a secret organization that a lot of people are speculating is going to show up in Dragon Age 4, but who knows? Excerpts from Rector's reports. Do you know this sign? A triangle pointing down, two wavy lines through it. A lookout spotted it in chalk on a ruined wall close to one of our outposts. A cursory inquiry into the symbol has revealed nothing. Archivists are still looking. Argent thinks she saw the symbol or something very like it, scrawled in a ledger that belonged to the Comtesse of Bayard. The sweep was done as you ordered. Almost every outpost of ours has been marked in this manner. Many believe we are being watched. To what end, we do not know. Liliana proposes a decoy outpost. Set up near a trade route and watch carefully. If someone decides to take out their piece of chalk, we'll have them. It's a good idea. Josephine, we could follow up on Argent's lead. The Comtesse of Bayard is reclusive and has remained steadfastly neutral in all matters, but I'm certain I can find some way to gain her cooperation. Yeah, let's go the diplomatic route. Sable's sketchy. Let's do the sketchy Liliana route. These seem to be spy-like people, so let's counter-spy them. A spy's report. Post set up along the Imperial Highway, ostensibly to guard trade routes, facilitate procuring supplies, yada yada yada. Fourth night, caravan approaching. After midnight, young woman on crutches. She crouches and makes the mark on a tent post. The woman pretends for half an hour to know nothing. When it becomes clear the ruse will not work, she kisses an Andrastian locket and says, "Glory to those across the seas." She dies. The locket was poison. Interesting. Those across the seas. There is a lot of speculation that those across the seas refers to the Cunari, as their homeland is across at least some sea. So it could be Cunari spies. But it also, there's other speculation that it's another continent entirely. The Executors. Yeah, Will says, so about this. Oh yeah, this Operation Questline has to do with the Executors, which have had some concept art shown for Dragon Age 4. They also show up in the Tevinter Nights short stories, in a couple of them, right? I haven't read all of the Tevinter Nights short stories. I read the one where they're in the tavern discussing Solus. And I won't say more about that because that's super spoilery for this game. But yeah, they are probably not the Cunari. I don't really think they're the Cunari, but there's a lot of speculation that they are. At least especially during the release of this game, there was a lot of speculation that they were the Cunari. Will also said, so my understanding is that the tribunal is more similar to the Hindu concept of divine aspects more than the Christian concept of Trinity. That makes a lot of sense. So Shiva, Vishnu, and Krishna are the three aspects of Brahman as it manifests as gods, or as beings, something like that. So something like that is, again, more comprehensible in a polytheistic context. But again, that's a lot of Christian missionaries used that as a kind of olive branch to Hindu spirituality and Hindu theology, to kind of analogize the Trinity to something they were familiar with. It's similar to the whole, at least the legend of St. Patrick using the shamrock, right? 3 parts of one whole. But again, that's heretical technically. So would a comparison to the 3 aspects of Brahman would also be heretical technically. But come on, it's close. It's illustrative at the very least, which is at least something. It's more than you might otherwise get. All right. The remaining Chantry clerics have declared the Inquisition heretical. Speaking of, attempts to gather allies against the breach have been rebuffed, and at this moment we could not step foot in the capital without being attacked by a mob or arrested. We must convince the Chantry to permit us entry into the city so we can show them the Herald of Andraste is not the monster they believe. Let's do it.
Having the Herald address the clerics is not a terrible idea.
You can't be serious.
Mother Giselle isn't wrong. At the moment, the Chantry's only strength is that they are united in opinion.
And we should ignore the danger to the Herald.
Let's ask her.
Where's my clothes? Where's my body? This is weird. One of my mods is probably not working properly. Darn it, I just updated. Well. Gonna have to try that again, fix it around later. Alright, no, let's do it.
What can they do? It's just talk.
Don't underestimate the power of their words. An angry mob will do you in just as quickly as a blade.
They probably have blades,
I will
honestly.
go with her. Mother Giselle said she could provide us names. Use them.
But why? This is nothing but a...
What choice do we have, Liliana? Right now we can't approach anyone for help with the breach. Use what influence we have to call the clerics together. Once they are ready, we will see this through.
Okay. Will said, "Yep, they show up in 2 or 3 of the stories. The one in the show, the one in the show is pretty clearly how they feel in regards to the you know who. I won't say much because spoilers. Right? Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah. I mean, I can't say much more. So Kevin says, is the water ice steam thing partialism or modalism? Modalism. That would be modalism. It's because it's the same substance but in different forms. Partialism is more like the shamrock. Or a glass half full with water, ice cubes, and air. That's also partialism, which is also just hardly wrong. But in the tavern. Okay, gotcha. Kylie said, y'all was in Sarasota today and got me some Yoder's pie. I've heard of it, but I've never tried it. It's one of those. It's one of those. It's one of those down home Florida things that for some reason have not not tried. I maybe should. Especially if I wind up getting the job I applied for, half like 3/4 jokingly. So Dave Rubin of the Rubin Report is moving from California to Florida, and he's moving his whole operation here. And on his podcast from earlier this week, he mentioned something about like we're hiring a bunch of people because Florida business taxes are fantastic, so we can afford to do it. So I'm like, hey. And then he was also on that same podcast talking about, integrating into the Floridian culture and all that. So me, naturally, being my Hawaiian shirt, I immediately shot an email to their HR department about being a Florida man consultant, because I did train alligators for a few years, and I'm also a professor of philosophy, and I also study things like ethics and political theory and stuff. So, hey, if I wind up with a semi-regular or even once in a while segment on the Rubin Report, that'd be kind of neat. I don't expect it to go anywhere, but who knows? Wait, Kylie, you're talking about it, but you're still not explaining what the hell it is. You say I got their cherry pie today, but my favorite is their coconut cream pie. Is it a company? Or is it a kind of pie? I don't actually know this. Oh, Kylie asked, what would I be working as? I have no clue. I just sent an email and said, hey, I'm an experienced Florida man. I trained alligators, and I talk about philosophy and theology and religion and politics. Throw money at me to talk on air or something or whatever. I said it nicer than that. Basically, if I do wind up doing anything, I would probably be just on as a Florida man. Honestly, the only qualifications for Florida man that I'm missing is I've never cooked meth. And I will say, if that's what it takes to get this job, it's probably not worth it. Probably not worth the job. Kidding. I'm probably kidding. I don't expect that to be a... You explained further up. Did I miss it? What did I miss? Hold on a second. Sorry, guys. I gotta look now. What did you say? No, you didn't. I don't see it. You just said it's magical. It either didn't send or it's not showing me. Try again. Shoot me again there, because I missed it. Anyway, the remaining changing clerics have declared this Inquisition heretical. Attempts to gather allies against the breach have been rebuffed. Okay, yeah, this is what we just talked about. So let's do this as we continue discussing pie and Florida and the Rubin Report. Also, it's Erica's birthday, so again, ko-fi.com/Professor McCoy. If you want to throw us money in a message, go for it. By us, I mean it's her birthday. It's not mine. Fort Connor. It was it was in Redcliffe. After their son. Oh no, it was named after their father, who they also named their son after. Okay, cool. Very cool. That's a lot about Solus. And I missed it. Oh well. Fine. All right, I think this is dramatic entrance time, so I don't want to really talk over too much. Oh, it's an Amish family-run restaurant that's famous for pie and fried chicken. Oh, okay. Kylie says happy birthday.
The city still mourns.
Oh, great.
Just a guest seeker, but I think they all know who we are.
Your skills of observation never fail to impress.
You're literally screaming and running. Wonderful.
My Lady Herald.
You're one of Leliana's people.
Don't T-pose at me.
What have you found?
The Chantry Mothers await you, but so do a great many Templars.
There are Templars here?
People seem to think the Templars will protect them from the Inquisition. They're gathering on the other side of the market. I think that's where the Templars intend to meet you.
Only one thing to do, then.
Well, Kevin, now that you mention it,
Protect the people from us?
yes.
The orders return to the fold, maybe? To deal with us upstarts?
I know, Lord Seeker Lucius. I can't imagine him coming to the Chantry's defense, not after all that's occurred. Return to Haven. Someone will need to inform them if we are delayed.
As you say, my lady.
Yeah, T-posing Inquisition agent. There's a little bit of jankiness still in animations and stuff, and that's. I don't think it's my fault with mods, but it could be partially. Anyway, Kevin, now that you mention it, we did just find out the other day that Eric and I are expecting a daughter. She is coming in April, probably the 23rd by the look of things. We've known for a while. We just found out that it was a girl, and we just found out that everything is absolutely wonderful and absolutely fine, and she is delightful and healthy and dancing, as most of our as our experience with girls, with having girl children would indicate. That is exactly the kind of thing that. Well, we kind of figured that this was a girl based on her being prenatally identical to Saoirse, let's put it that way, in terms of behavior, in terms of her dancing around wildly, in terms of morning sickness, in terms of everything else. So, anyway, it is absolutely wonderful news. We are absolutely thrilled to tell everybody, and we can't wait. Can't wait for her to arrive, for us to meet her really in person, face to face, and all of that. Okay, this is congratulations. Thank you very, very much. Well, she says congratulations, but repeats a lot of letters. So, thank you. John here says, John Shepard says, I'm only here for a few minutes, but happy birthday, Erica. Well, send the message along. Avenue of her reflective thought, Our Lady and the actors of her rise and fall. Kylie cannot manage to express and or contain her excitement, which I don't blame you. It's weird that I don't have that level of very sudden excitement, because it's the kind of thing that approaches gradually from the first person perspective, you know. We suspected before we knew, and by the time we knew, then we were just sort of in a holding pattern to find out more, and then we were finding out more, and now we found out that it's girl, and it's a little bit step by step. So it's just a kind of, instead of this like sudden explosion of excitement, it's just a kind of joyful anticipation the whole time, you know. Anyway, so I've also been not saying anything for a couple of months now, so that's been at least slightly challenging, but it managed. Anyway, thank you all for the great congratulations. Rat's remorse. A meeting a low door frame. Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, holding his head, of course. Someone's vandalizing religious statues. How dare they? Ellie says, I'm bouncing so much because I'm excited for y'all. I think I'm worried mom because I kind of squeaked. Babies. Mathras blood guilt. His head suddenly weighs too much. Oh my gosh. Yeah, okay. Guys, why are you... People are apparently graffitiing religious sculptures. Love it. I don't love it, but it's a thing. Pickle. Ellie says, I love babies. Me too. That's why we have 3. 3 now. So far. Mathras penance and unrelated headache. He does seem to be holding his head a lot. Like, a lot. Here's another one. Mathras regret about his unfortunate hair. Oh, man. Come on. That's rude. Avenue of her reflective thought. The avenue is inspirational, but wise travelers do not linger in their respects. Not just because the bizarre awaits, but because the area before the back-turned statues is treacherous. Local legend has it that the child empress, Amy, abused the opportunity of religious repose to relieve herself beneath the gaze of Our Lady. Unable to discipline the toddling leader, her attendants instead chastened the statues and had them turned in supposed embarrassment. True or not, foolish youths dare each other to soil the spot in similar fashion, and a place of otherwise reverent thought always carries a faint odor about it. Wow, okay. Someone put that in a brochure, apparently. Local tourism, guys. I love the little touches. I honestly do really like the little touches in this game. Anyway, let's see what all is going on here. Oh, gallows, that's a good sign.
Stand wary, guardsman. The Inquisition is here, along with the Herald of Andraste.
Greetings, Frenchman.
They found the free marcher covered in the Divine's blood.
This Inquisition is heresy. You will not look on my doubt.
Sorry. Okay.
Good people of Val Royal, hear me. Together, we mourn our divine. A naive and beautiful heart, silenced by treachery. You wonder what will become of a murderer. Well,
Oh, jeez, here we go.
wonder no more. Behold, the so-called Herald of Andraste, claiming to rise where our beloved fell. We say this is a false prophet, no servant of anything beyond her selfish greed.
Ellie says, also, y'all, I'm so happy to be on winter break. I'm going to sleep for a week. Yeah, I'm still gathering grades and assignments and such. Working on all of that. There's quite a lot still to be done because everything is gradually coming in. And I have to make this, this weird call of when to officially cut things off and just submit incompletes. Or whether I should wait for people. I don't know. It's a tough call. Will says, this Inquisition is heresy, has literally been called into being by the previous divine. Yeah, you know, by the one that they're all mourning and saying, oh, you killed her. Yeah, after she instituted the Inquisition? Come on, guys. This seems... Let me just put it this way. It seems obvious from this point, and, I mean... it's clear that this is the case. It becomes more clear that a lot of these people who are so very strongly, against the Inquisition were manipulated into the position. Kylie says she looks like Lumiere. I can't argue with that. I really can't argue with that. Oh, so there was also something hilarious. Speaking of assignments coming in right near the end, some of you know I have one of my assignments is reading notes. So I have Socratic reading notes, give questions and answers about some of the readings or some of the materials. Some of its readings, some of its chapters, books, articles, some of its videos, and lectures and podcasts and sound, like audio stuff. And I give the opportunity to submit reading notes for any of my supplemental material. So that's basically stuff that I mention offhand that I think might be useful for either background information, additional research, stuff for students to that they might find interesting or useful for their other assignments. Oh no, okay, this is my one professor hasn't submitted grades for a paper that's been in since early November, and it's annoying. I sympathize. It happens to me sometimes, so I can't. Yeah, it's really frustrating, but there may be a reason for it. And if not, it's probably bothering him as well. Him or her, whichever. But yeah, that does get irritating. I will agree that does get irritating. But so I have the opportunity for students to submit reading notes for the various supplemental materials. One of the supplemental materials that I included, because I had it as a recommended, hey, watch this to help explain natural law theory and intrinsic teleology, the natures of things, right? Understanding things in terms of their form. One of the included texts is my video, What Makes Good Art. Anyone remember my video about what makes good art? Let's continue the conversation while you guys ponder that for a moment. You may remember it better as What Makes Good Rat.
We came here in peace simply to talk, and this is what you do. I implore you, let us sit down together to deal with the real threat.
It's true. The Inquisition seeks only to end this madness before it is too late.
It is already too late. The
And
Templars
Templars.
have returned to the Chantry. They will face this Inquisition, and the people will be safe once more.
Yes, they've returned to the Chantry to punch a priestess in the face. Sorry, the back of the
Kill
face.
yourself. She is beneath us.
What's the meaning of this?
Her claim to authority is an insult, much like your own.
Lord Seeker Lucius, it's imperative that we speak with...
You will not address me.
Lord Seeker?
Creating a heretical movement, raising up a puppet as Andraste's prophet, you should be ashamed. You should all be ashamed. The Templars failed no one when they left the Chantry to purge the mages. You are the ones who have failed. You who'd leash our righteous swords with doubt and fear. If you came to appeal to the Chantry, you are too late. The only destiny here that demands respect is mine.
Okay, so this really seems like something that is, excuse me, suggesting that we go and help the mages rather than the Templars. But before that, Kylie, you remember Good Rat? Yes, Good Rat. So my What Makes Good Rat video was basically a meme. It was basically a meme. It was a joke. It was me taking the example of rats and using what makes good rat as a way of explaining natural law and intrinsic teleology and metaphysical essentialism and stuff like that. And it was based on a stupid joke from EFAP, from Every Frame of Pause, and which itself was based on a video from, I believe it was Brown Table, video essayist, who had some just god-awful typography in one of his videos where it said, what makes good art? And he was talking about aesthetics, like philosophy of aesthetics. But it looked like what makes good rat, because the R and the A looked basically identical. And so this turned into a big joke. And the joke of the video was basically, okay, I thought it said what makes good rat, but really it was supposed to be about what makes good art. And so I made the video about rat instead of about art, and ha 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 ha. Funny, right? Someone submitted very serious, quite comprehensive, and quite well done reading notes on my What Makes Good Rat video. I love it. I love this. I'm very pleased. I've never been prouder of a stupid joke. That's true. I've never been prouder of a stupid joke. And this happened. This was submitted to me on the same day that I used a laser pointer to get one of my cats, Turbo, to turn off one of the lights in the living room from outside the house. I was very impressed by my ability to do that. But man, a student submitting very serious notes and getting full credit for them for a meme video that I used to make a comedic point. It was a genuine point, right? To be fair, it was a genuine point. I actually used it to illustrate something, but still, man, I'm just so proud of this community. Oh man, I really am. I love it. I love this. Anyway, there was that. That was one thing that I'm very, very happy about. If you haven't seen my What Makes Good Rat video, I recommend it. It's fun. It's relatively short. It's only like 8 or 9 minutes long. Actually, I think it's less. I think it's only like 5 or 6. I forget. I'll put it in the description. I will put it in the description after the fact. And I'll probably put it in the memes channel and explain the situation in the Discord as well. So if you're in there, check that out. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it. If you have, maybe it's funny. Who knows? Anyway, I'm very pleased with myself for something so silly. Anyway, that is some class news. Yeah, let's use Cullen for this. Yeah, Kelly says sounds amazing. Oh, absolutely. Will says, on the subject of student jokes, one of my friends once turned in an essay on reptilians to a sociology teacher at high school. The theme of the essay was hidden people of society, in the sense of socially marginalized, but he turned that in anyway. Oh my god, I love it. I love that. Did he address it like completely serious, like total deadpan, like talking about the lizard people that are in control of society, or was it like, there are theories that people have about lizard people controlling, or something like that? I once, this was in high school, I used, this was for an English class, and we were supposed to do, it was for some, like, just relatively unimportant, kind of, basically a persuasive essay using basic research. One of the things I did was I made a short research paper arguing that Barack Obama was the Antichrist. Again, mostly as a joke, and also in part to show the following. I did this by editing Wikipedia, the Wikipedia page on the Antichrist, and I put at the end, there is some speculation that Barack Obama, the current president of the United States, is the Antichrist, or it might have been candidate at that time. I forget. I don't remember. I forget what year I did this. Something like that. And I edited it onto Wikipedia, and I cited Wikipedia for it. And I use this partially as a sort of point of, like, don't trust Wikipedia because you can just do this. Got a decent grade on it because I used legitimate research. High school level research, but still. Anyway, I thought it was, again, it's another one of those really stupid, dumb things that, there you go. Oh my gosh, you got a 9 out of 10 on the reptilian essay, which is hilarious. Oh, it was totally serious. Wow, that's... Love it. That's honestly one of the things I kind of struggle with as an academic. I honestly I'm never sure whether what I argue for is completely serious or not. I put forward ideas that I'm not necessarily always fully convinced by. That I think that just so long as I think there is a significant or a strong enough argument for it, I'm willing to say it. I'm willing to make the argument. I'll decide whether I'm completely serious about it after the fact, once I'm convinced, and once I've seen the counter arguments. And I think I see that as a kind of intellectual humility, a kind of academic honesty, but it also could be read, I think improperly, but maybe as a kind of trolling, as a kind of unseriousness about scholarship. And I kind of honestly think it's the opposite. Evan says, as a side note on art, my baby sister got a regional award for her painting and is being sent to New York for a national contest. Awesome. Congratulations. That's really cool. I love to see good art that's actually good. And Kevin, I was mentioning this on Facebook. I've been thinking about doing a watch together at some point on Discord of Roger Scruton's documentary Why Beauty Matters, which talks about modern art and the sort of degradation of art and artistry and craft. And also he focuses a lot on architecture, which really, really, modern architecture bugs me to no end. So that's actually something that I really latched onto there. And so Roger Scruton, the recently late Roger Scruton, was one of the preeminent philosophers of aesthetics in the last generation, really. and his documentary from like 2010 or so was absolutely wonderful. And it's been gradually purged from almost everywhere because it was through the BBC originally, but it was so wildly unpopular with broadly speaking the postmodern types, the people who are largely in control of the art world, so to speak, that it got brushed away. YouTube basically doesn't allow it anywhere anymore, and that's because of the BBC. BBC doesn't want it showing up in places, so you can really only find it in a few rare places around here and there, which is a damn shame because it's an incredible documentary, and it kind of fundamentally shaped how I look at aesthetics. Between that and Plato, those are my sources for aesthetics. I don't study aesthetics too much. I'd love to. I'd love to go into a deeper dive into it, but Roger Scruton and Plato are kind of my sources in terms of aesthetics. A little bit of Aquinas, but I haven't done too much research on Aquinas' view of aesthetics.
Templars! One of your own commands the Inquisition's forces. Join us as he did.
Hear, hear.
A staunch and loyal member of the Order. So loyal, he abandoned them for a false herald.
Yeah, but you abandoned the chantry.
What if she really was sent by the Maker? What if...
You are called to a higher purpose. Do not question.
I will make the Templar Order a power that stands alone against the Void. We deserve recognition. Independence. You have shown me nothing.
Why?
And the Inquisition, less than nothing.
Why do you deserve and why do you even want independence?
Val is unworthy of our protection. We march.
I mean...
Charming fellow, isn't he?
Has Lord Seeker Lucius gone mad?
Clearly. Honestly, though, aside from... Okay, so I ask why exactly the Templar Order even wants independence of this sort. And there's really only a couple of options. One is a kind of conceit. It is the belief that they know better than those who are in authority over them what they ought to do, which is directly contrary to every oath that they swore. So that seems unlikely by itself. The other option is pure power, which is quite likely. That Seeker Lucius and perhaps others want independence for the sake of autonomy, for the sake of power. It's pride. It's the devil's first sin, as I've been talking about endlessly for the last few weeks. The other is outside influence. And likely, outside influence would then, therefore, something or someone tempting them away from justice, would exacerbate the other two causes. But, yeah, Cassandra has a good point. Has he gone mad? Well, yes. It's kind of the only option. Mad with power, or just mad? It seems certainly that yes, it has to be the case.
Do you know him very well?
He took over the Seekers of Truth 2 years ago, after Lord Seeker Lambert's death. He was always a decent man, never given to ambition and grandstanding. This is very bizarre.
Never given to ambition or grandstanding. Well, that rules out 1 and 2 and only leaves influence. I mean, grandstanding is the first one, is thinking that they know better. Ambition is the second one, power for power's sake. This leaves only some kind of outside influence or something else. Ooh. I don't actually remember if we find out what happens with him if we don't side with the Templars. So I might just want to spoil it at some point. If any of you remember this, if you're familiar with the story, let me know if we ever actually find out about this. Because if you do side with the Templars, there's some extra big revelations that happen in that quest. But if you don't, it's a completely different quest, completely different quest line. The thing with Dorian and the thing with the Tevinters and all that stuff, the mages. And again, like I said, I'm leaning very strongly towards siding with the mages at this point.
It doesn't look like we'll be getting the Templars to help us after all.
I wouldn't write them off so quickly. There must be those in the Order who see what he's become. Either way, we should first return to Haven and inform the others.
Okay. Well, there's a lot to do here first.
Our Templars left.
What in the world was that? An arrow. History on Emperor Florian.
An arrow with a message?
Favors for friends. A message detached, written in large, flowing hand, bordered with doodles. People say you're special. I want to help, and I can bring everyone. There's a baddie in Valroyo. I hear he wants to hurt you. Have a search for the red things in the market, the docks, and round the cafe. And maybe you'll meet him first. Bring swords. Friends of Red Jenny. A poor drawing of the locations in the markets attached. Ah, it's this.
The Chantry has just shown themselves.
The Chantry promised they defend us.
Fetch their Templars back.
Is what they're saying real? The Inquisition's going to fix the hole in the sky?
We're going to give it a try, at least.
No one is doing anything. The Chantry's useless, and the Templars... Andraste. I never thought they'd abandon us. Listen.
Well, we won't.
Your camp will need food. I have contacts. We'll have deliveries there in days.
You want to help the Inquisition?
Never been part of something this big before, but if your Inquisition's going to seal the sky, I want to help.
Will says you do, but Cassandra gives you a different quest that shows what happened to Seeker Lucius. Oh, okay, that one. I know which one you're talking about with Seekers. It's the thing about that other thing, the old Seekers and stuff like that. Okay, oh, that's right. You do find out that secret, that one. Okay, all right, cool. If it comes to it, we'll talk about it there because the implications are not, if I remember correctly, they're not as clear during that quest. So we'll see. What do you think, Cassandra?
What do you think, Cassandra?
Oh, well...
I think the woman is asking you and not me.
Well, she is.
The Herald of Andraste. Yes, I understand. Haven is a mess, but we won't turn away anyone willing to help. Invite her, if it pleases you.
All right, cool.
Head to Haven, then. We need good people.
I don't know if I'm that, but it will be nice to see. Thank you.
Oh. It was very nicely humble.
Seems change is on the wind. I wish your leaders well.
Thank you. Alright, more lore stuff. In respect to Duke Stefan of Valmontan. Grace of the Empire South, reserved for his strangeness, her sound, and his static puppets behind glass. What in the world? Okay. Relay is so weird. In respect to Duke Yvonne of Sevrene. Of Sevren? I guess it's Sevren. This display reserved for presentations of affection through private, though private, and also discounted spirits, presented by company Misdirect Theater. Okay, that's alright. Duke Isidore de l'Essence. Isidore de l'Essence. Okay. This display is reserved for discourse political with attending professors of social matters from the University of Orlais. Note that all vendors of loftable groceries will be closed in the hour beforehand and for 1/2 after. What? Orlais is so weird. This is ridiculous. Read. Okay. The first Lion of Orlais, in respect to Emperor Alphonse Valmont. The Lions of Orlais, a repeating element dedicated to the great defenders and otherwise noted. It is rumored that one is gold, one is bronze and weighted with poison, and one is chocolate, and one is watching. Whatever that means. As the saying goes, dare we all a thief to test his back and learn which is most dangerous to try to deny Orlais. In truth, all are lead and leaf. Don't pretend to ride them too long, lest the mind give way.
I believe that messenger is trying to get our attention.
Welcome all before the grace of the Empire. Stage and audience for the use of all. Theater and business for partnership and proposal be seen. A notice below reads, this display reserved for songs traditional. By Lord Bramford and his players. Cancelled. Circle Mage, huh?
You are the Herald of Andraste, are you not? I have an invitation for you.
Ah, you are cordially invited to attend my salon, held at the chateau of Duke Bastien de Gislaine. Yours, Vivian de Fer, first enchanter of Montismard, enchanter at the Imperial Court. Okay. Gilaine, I suppose. Not of heroes, united in hatred. Okay. Big lore stuff. I can come back to later, maybe. Gallows master, hold thy hand, hold it back a while. Callous juror, let me stand, let me bar a smile. For comes my brother distant, for comes my saviour soon. I stand here most insistent, I will receive my boon. Fellow soldier, hold thy voice, hold it if you may. Fellow soldiers, shoulders, show my choice, I am in your sway. For know my crime was cruel, and all my pain deserved. I stand here as a fool, despite my brother served. Mother dearest, look away, look into the sun. Others nearest gone astray, you will be undone. For no more will I prattle, and no more will I pray. Hear you must the rattle, as life will fly away. In the Song of Old Orlais, she of the highwayman repents. And Will says, probably because they think someone will throw said food at them during a debate. That actually makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense, actually. Okay, I get you. I get that. Flying groceries, okay. Emporium of Mortal Means, okay. Yeah, we can buy stuff, I suppose. Anything we need now? Too expensive. No. I think we have nothing that we really need to sell. I think I took care of all of that, so I think we're fine. Will says, I think the University of Paris had similar rule as well to similar reasons at one point in time. Huh, interesting. It must be somewhat later than I'm familiar with the University of Paris. My familiarity with the University of Paris is pretty much exclusively in the Middle Ages. 13th century, really. Aquinas' day. Like, in particular, Aquinas' day. Yeah, some nice stuff, but no. Okay, nothing I really need. Alright. Good to know that there are things and places and stuff to buy and to sell and all of that.
What is the Grand Cathedral thinking? We must have a new divine. She will show us the way.
If that is the case, that would make a lot of sense. That it's a direct reference to the University of Paris. Tonic belts. What does this do? Ooh, that is good. Okay, yeah, that we need for Cassandra. Grenades. Under one hit. Health. Heal bonus. Focus. Wait. Heal bonus. Does that mean, like, I get passive healing? Because that would be incredible. Focus. Nah. Fire resistance. Life drain. Oh, hello. Yeah, I need that. I'm gonna get a potions belt for me. Grenades for Varric, maybe? Be good. Anything else in here? Bunch of junk. Cool. In case we ever need junk. Now let's equip some stuff. Potions belt. What are these? I'm gonna get rid of the guard penetration and get the life drain. I'll give Varric guard penetration. Grenades belt. Cassandra. Guard belt. Solus, the magic defense. That'll work. Okay. Alright, cool. Got some cool stuff. I could get more things for everyone, but I'm not going to bother just yet. Alright, I need to go upstairs, I think. Hang on. Okay. Do the Reg anything. Might as well. We will get to meet the most annoying companion in the entire series. Le Masque du Lion. We cheered when honored was her might, but many more deserve a thought. For though she was the first a knight, her ken and kind have always fought. Plaque, Le Masque du Lion, sponsored by Princess Korean's First Cavalry. Those are should be signed. Okay. Hello. Hey.
We should search the area.
A dragon. Head of Madam Snappy Snips. Okay. I got a level up for examining a dragon head. Cool. Knight of Heroes. Mafarath and sacrifice you.
Just what we needed.
A different simple script on the back of stable report marked with red paint. Thank you, friends, for helping good Lady Kyrus. So those who asked about Harold entered third passage. Could not stay to see them exit. By the way, I really like the fact that they have the songs in English in Ferelden and in French in Orlais. That's really cool, and I honestly wish, like, of all the mods I would like to do for this game, I'd love to see one where it makes the Orlesian characters speak French, because the lines are already there, already recorded. Because there's a French language version of this game. It was made in Montreal, of course there is. That'd be really cool to have that, to have a French language version of the Orlesian characters speaking when they're amongst themselves and stuff. That'd be really neat, but there's no mod for it. I haven't found one, at least. That'd be really cool. Let's level up. We can do that. Should we do daggers or should we do stealthies? Yeah, let's do daggers for now. Let's do fighting stuff. Regain stamina every kill. Sneak attack. Attacks on the target's back or flank are much more likely to be killing blows. Ooh, it increases crit chance for backstabs. Death blow. Lash out hard with swift and deadly skill, and then again against a wounded foe. Okay. Thinning blades. Yeah, let's do sneak attack. Okay, cool. Alright, yeah, that'll work. Alright, there's another shop up here we can check out.
Of course.
It's scroll. Oh no, it's wow, that's pricey. Legion Army Scout Armor. I kind of want it, but it's way expensive, and I can't afford that right now. All right, save up for that eventually.
For she who trusts in the Maker, fire is her water.
Fire is her water. Death of diversity. Hold back an empire, another. Could hold back so defined a people as to enter another.
Of course not.
Basically, so it's arguing that Orlais for Orlesians kind of thing. Okay. Her Majesty's convenience. For Her Majesty's convenience, wood and vines defy the very sun and rain.
Do we?
The Lover's Alcove. Every district has one, at least one. The question must be, why is a place meant for dalliance declared on such an obvious way? The answer, of course, is that obviousness is entirely the point. When manners and station will not allow impassioned words, such corners are places to be seen, not being seen. Entering with a paramour is as much declaration as singing out in joy, which one of good standing must never do. The alcove is thus a dignified means of announcing romantic affiliation, either for genuine partnership or to appear as such, in order to spare a suitor a refusal. Dignity, of course, requiring that one does not also make use of the darkness for actual physical gratification. This has, of course, never occurred. Oh my gosh. Orlais is so ridiculous. Have I mentioned that Orlais is ridiculous yet? No, nothing there. This is, like, very nice, but I have to say, it's really cool, it's really nice and all that, but part of the problem with this, everything to do with this, is that this little marketplace is all we see of Valreo, the capital of Orlais, the greatest empire on all of Thedas, with the possible exception of Tevinter. That's kind of disappointing, that it's basically just the marketplace.
Come to me, child.
Oh well. Oh well. It's still cool. Yeah. Oh wait. By the dock. We still gotta do that.
In my arms lies eternity.
Gotta check the dock.
They left us. The Templars left us to the mages. Chantry liars.
Alright. So another thing I wanted to mention, something very funny I noticed, and I put this in the Discord, but its significance may not have been so apparent until bringing it up. Red handkerchief. We're at a key with a small hasty scroll. Key lifted from a drunk swearing about Harold. Don't know what door. I'm out. My debt's paid. Okay. Oh, a fish. Stocking failed. Fish not fit. Do not consume. Oh, okay. That's folly. Anyway, so I mentioned this in the Discord, and I posted a picture of it. It's something really quite impressive that Disney appears to be selling merch for the Star Wars holiday special. Yes, that holiday special. The one that George Lucas ordered destroyed entirely. Every copy deleted and burned. The embarrassment to all of reality. That variety show of absolute cringe-inducing nonsense that no one wants to watch aside from to laugh at. And even then, there are better things to laugh at. Anyway, Disney seems, at least to me, to be selling Life Day orbs. Life Day being the Wookiee holiday. Basically a Christmas substitute. The Eight Silks, that's those things. Being basically a Christmas substitute in space. It's not terribly clear what it's all about or anything in the show, in the actual special. The lore has gradually accumulated about it, but most of it's not canon at this point. A lot of it's just kind of ignored for good reason. And it's largely because, you know, George Lucas wanted nothing to do with this after it happened, and it was an utter embarrassment. And it served to do pretty serious damage to the image of Star Wars. Because it's like it's a variety show. If you haven't seen it, it is worth watching. Barely. But it's interesting to me now that Disney is capitalizing on it. Is actually selling merch for the holiday special. The 1978 holiday special? 78 or 79? I think it was 78. It was released between A New Hope and Empire. It was the Christmas between the two. Or one of the two Christmases between the two. Anyway, it's interesting, especially to me, that they're willing to do this, that when it is effectively a slap in the face to George Lucas, who wanted the holiday special utterly forgotten entirely. They're selling merch for it. Limited edition Life Day orbs at Walt Disney World. Man, man, and we thought that the sequel trilogy was a slap in the face to George Lucas and his will and his legacy. Man, this is rich, man.
Ah, the Herald of Andraste. Is that something I might help you with?
Apparently not.
No, thank you, sister.
Not at the moment.
Make her go with you.
Thank you. But man, it's really something. It's I would say predictably disrespectful in a sense. It's the kind of thing that I'm not terribly surprised by, but I'm intrigued by, because I honestly don't hate the holiday special as much as a lot of people do. Maybe as much as I should. But I mean, it is certainly bad, don't get me wrong. It was really cringy, but it's kind of the fun kind of cringy, I think. These days, like looking back on it. It's great for memes. But really, like, it's man, it's digging up a cursed corpse and parading it around. Kevin says, got to do something. Nobody's buying sequel garbage. That is true. That is very true. Sequel merch is just going nowhere fast. Will said, didn't Lucas describe him selling Star Wars to Disney in regretful terms? Yeah, a lot of times since then. And honestly, here's the thing. Yeah, Will said, I remember him mentioning it. It was like selling his child to slavers or something of that sort. Only in retrospect, really. And white slavers in particular was the term he used. And I get it, because it was a real heel face turn. Honestly, when it first happened, I had always been a big fan of the sort of Disney and Star Wars collaborations. Because I'd been going to, I'd been to, at the time, MGM Studios a lot. And especially for Star Wars weekends, which was a big deal at the time. Disney's Star Wars weekends was a big collaboration between Lucasfilm and Disney to do really, really cool stuff. And a lot of it was really just honoring Star Wars in incredible ways. Like they had the actors, they had all kinds of events and all kinds of merchandise and all kinds of shows put on, and they used it for a bunch of announcements and all kinds of really, really cool stuff. And I thought, you know what? If anyone can do a good job with Star Wars, anyone who isn't George Lucas, it's Disney. If any company can do it, it's Disney. Oops. Alexa, play Curb Your Enthusiasm theme. But man, I had really good reason to be hopeful at the time. And then I heard the EU was getting deleted, and I was really, really upset about that, because I had spent a good deal of my childhood reading post-Endor EU. But I understood. I was like, all right, look, if they're making a new trilogy, if they're making new movies going forward, it's going to be basically impossible to adapt the material and make adaptations of it and make them actually good. So I was like, you know what, fine. I guess they got to do it. I understand. I don't like it, but I understand it. And then it just started to tumble downhill from there. Really, really did. And yeah, George Lucas has been really, really down about it, because he basically sold it on the assumption that they were going to be using his ideas for the sequels, for a sequel trilogy. And he really deeply trusted Kathleen Kennedy, because she had been working with him for decades. And she was basically his handpicked successor. And again, it was just a radical heel face turn. And it was subversive and destructive, and in a really weird sort of way that I didn't see coming, but I maybe should have. Anyway, I don't know. My feelings about Star Wars are always turbulent, because I really rapidly oscillate between just not caring anymore because things are there's a lot of crap, and then also just disappointment, and then a very, very rare occasional excitement. Like I'm tentatively excited about Eclipse, the game that's probably coming out in like 2 to 5 years, ways down the road, but It could be really good, made by Quantic Dream, which I'm maybe excited about. They do really good character-driven RPG stuff, so maybe that could be good. But at the same time, they're most well known for Detroit Become Human, which is a branching story walking simulator. And I'm really concerned about a Star Wars game like that tries to be actiony, but also tries to be like Detroit Become Human, quick time events and walking. That could be kind of crap, and I could not enjoy playing it at all. Maybe, or they could go a radically different direction with it. Also, the founder of Quantic Dream is trying to get is in the process of getting canceled by the Twitter mob, so gotta support that. Gotta support him in that case. For ridiculous things, ridiculous accusations that were disproven in a court of law, of course. So, Anyway, I'm tentatively excited about Eclipse. I liked the trailer. I thought it was really cool, but it gives me no remote clue what the hell is going on. So I have no idea. Who knows? I will wait and see. I will wait and be tentatively excited. Book of Boba Fett might be good. It's coming out like tomorrow, I think. The first episode. Oh, welcome back, Kylie. We've been exploring around Valrio, just the marketplace, finding these. These are notes from the Red Jennies. Friends of Red Jenny, sorry. About someone after us, the Inquisition and the Herald in particular. But yeah, and then of course I've also been talking about Star Wars and some of the problems with current Star Wars and the weirdness of the Randy Dowager Quarterly, another one of these. I'm not reading another one of these in my as Kevin would describe it, my ASMR voice. I'm not doing it. But anyway, yeah, I was almost a little bit surprised to see that they're selling this merch and that it's so directly and explicitly turning their backs on Lucas's wishes, but I shouldn't be that surprised because it's been happening for years now. Longing in the upper court. My weakness bids me not by chance to gaze upon the upper court where shadows of our final dance and wishes of my heart consort. Battle Relay is weird. But yeah, Will said Eclipse looks cool, but it's set in High Republic, which I thought was really meh. I read Light of the Jedi and the latest comics of that era and wasn't impressed. I have to say, by contrast, I was actually pretty impressed by Light of the Jedi. I liked Light of the Jedi quite a bit, but only because it's the kind of sci-fi literature that I really enjoy, which is an almost exclusive focus on world building at the exclusion of plot. Almost nothing actually happened in Light of the Jedi. There was the big event that started the whole thing, the whole like hyperspace crash thingy. The whole it started the whole story starts with a traffic accident. Fine, cool, that. But then basically nothing happens throughout, and the whole thing is world building. Here's the thing, though. I live for that crap. I live for boring world building stuff with no plot and sparse characters and no main character and all that stuff. I love it. I love the Silmarillion. But it was the kind of thing that I really like. I don't know if I love the era, really. It's interesting to see the potential stories where the Jedi are decadent and are wearing like gold leaf and stuff, that led up to the basically the Dark Age of the prequel trilogy era, the Fall of the Jedi.
Same old.
So stuff like that. I mean, I don't know. There's something to like there. Folly of General, not Sheraton. Another story. But anyway, I don't know. High Republic has potential, but it's not realized well. The other stuff that I've glanced at, it hasn't impressed me nearly as much. Light of the Jedi I liked for the wrong reasons. For my own personal reasons. The rest of it, maybe, kind of. It also seems to portray the Republic as new. As it seems to be kind of writing away the old Republic. The 1,000 generations across which the Jedi protected peace and justice in the Old Republic. That whole thing, you know? Switch. Cassandra. Okay. Ooh, damage resistant from the front. Oh, ranged attacks from the front. That's pretty good. And it gives Constitution. Yeah. Solus has good there. Frost, magic. Will says, I love world building as well, and I enjoy some of the concepts on their world building, particularly the Nihil movement. Their world building regarding Coruscant's construction was really bad. That I agree there. I do agree. Compared to the EU, at least. Oh yeah, and they treat the whole Republic as new or mostly new. Yeah, that's the impression I got at least. And I mean, I can be okay with that, but because I mean, even old EU canon, the Rusan Reformation was a big deal. It restructured the entire galaxy, and the Thousand-Year Darkness before that was also a big deal. It was basically a Dark Age. It was 1,000 years of intense warfare that destroyed like everything. He also said, well, continue. It kind of makes me confused because KOTOR remake is coming soon. And if I recall correctly, that will be canon. I don't think it's been specified that it's canon. It could be. Again, the old Republic. It was, what, 3,000 years or more? Like almost 4,000 years before the High Republic? A lot can happen in 4,000 years. Kylie says, also, yo, my boyfriend started his new job this week. I need to catch up on Star Wars TBH. Yeah, that's, well, first of all, congratulations. Congratulations to Leo. That's awesome. Great to hear. How's he liking it so far? I mean, I know it's early, but let's just do that. How's it going? Okay, cool. That's everybody. Right. Yeah, the Star Wars stuff, some of the shows, like Mandalorian, has been pretty good. There's some weird plot contrivances and stuff going on, and it's kind of like video gamey in terms of like it being full of side quests and stuff, but I've been liking it. I like the character stuff. I like a lot of the world building. I like a lot of the world building in the Mandalorian. They do a really good job with it being very Star Warsy. Plots are kind of weird in places, but whatever. It's fine. It's a Western. Bad Batch. I really, really liked the first season of Bad Batch. I thought it was really good. They take fewer risks than I think they maybe could have, but it is targeted at the younger demographic, so fine, acceptable. But I did think it was really good. Right, let's see what this is about.
This a shop? I maintain a premises wherein customers of a certain affluence entertain the purchase of my ware. So yes, a shop.
Your where?
Don't you mean wares?
No, I mean where. I have one item available for purchase. It is far too expensive for it merely to be sold. You may gaze upon it and dream of the wealth required to possess it, as have lords and kings. And then you may leave and purchase things from shops more aligned with your station.
I can't see it. Tell me what it is.
If you have to ask, you are not the one to buy it.
I need to know if I can use it.
And again, the point is missed. If mere use is your concern, you should go elsewhere. The person who claims this will not be known for using it. They will be known because they paid for it.
Orlais is so weird.
How do you keep the doors open on a shop with one item?
My shop is a destination. Luminaries of every description journey here to see what is denied to them. Some pay tribute, in the vain hope I will barter. They do not have the will to pay the price. They require a bargain to justify the spend, to ease their conscience. That would defeat the entirety of the purpose.
I don't see why this is special. Anyone can overprice something.
To overprice an item, The item must have a known value already. It is then priced over what it is worth. This has only the value I have set. It has never had another. It is not overpriced. It is priced.
This is the first NFT salesman.
So you sell one very expensive item, and it's worth it?
Let me now interrupt the inevitable defense of your thrift. I'm sure you have treasures, and you will have many more. You could parade them from here to Halam Shiral, but none of that would allow you to say you have purchased this. The item is irrelevant. The price is worth it.
This is an NFT.
Goodbye then.
It's a JPEG. It's a JPEG. Mystery box. 10,000 gold. So mysterious. I'm so saving up for this. Erica, what do you think? Would Sable go for this if she acquired the money? I feel like she would. I feel like she 100% would. It's wildly stupid and impractical, but I think so. Anyway, speaking of Star Wars, the mystery box, everyone. This guy is J.J. Abrams selling an NFT. Love it. Will says, I enjoyed The Mandalorian, looking forward to the Ahsoka series with Thrawn. Hopefully they'll do justice to the character, unlike Rebels. I think Rebels did okay with Thrawn. They did a lot of things well, but also some things not so well. He was a little bit too mustache-twirling villain, especially near the end there. But they did make him a genuine threat in the show, which is really hard to do in a show like Rebels. I'm a little concerned at the future of that whole Filoniverse thing, mostly because of the Gina Carano affair and its impact for things like Rangers of the New Republic, which I was actually really looking forward to. Well, since I think I bought the mystery box once, yeah, I'm sure I'm going to at some point. It's the allure is too much. Kylie says, he said he's been loving the new job, especially because he's such an awesome boss. He seems very happy with the job so far. Awesome. Good. Very good.
These truths the Maker has revealed to me.
I need to get out of here. World map. Friend of Red Jenny. Oh, look. That. It's Sarah. A location near Val Royeaux was revealed by the clues left by these friends of Red Jenny. Let's go. Let's go meet the most annoying character in the series.
If I might have a moment of your time.
Oh, hi. Oh. Holy crap, I finished my coffee already. Wow.
Grand Enchanter Fiona?
Leader of the Mage Rebellion. Is it not dangerous for you to be here?
I heard of this gathering, and I wanted to see the fabled Herald of Andraste with my own eyes.
Erica's not paying attention. She's
If
playing
it's help with
Inscription.
the breach you seek, perhaps my people
I'm assuming.
are the wiser option.
Erica, I'm assuming you're playing Inscription and not paying so much attention. So let me give you a short summary. There is a thing that is priced as wildly expensive, and the whole point of it is to buy it and to be the one who could bring oneself to buy it. And it is fabulously expensive, 10,000 gold, kind of expensive. And it is a sort of destination item. To know the whole point of purchasing it is to have purchased it if one finally managed to purchase it, because no one ever has. Basically, it's called the mystery box. If Sable winds up coming across that kind of money, I feel like she would go for that sort of thing. Kevin says, I love Gina so much, an imperial simping for a rebel veteran. Honestly, I really liked her character, too. I really liked Cara Dune as, first of all, an Alderaanian who actually cares about the destruction of Alderaan. Unlike certain princesses, at least as depicted. I mean, she does here and there, but it really impacted Cara Dune. And then, she's a badass. And it was the part about her story I liked the most, at least as depicted so far in the first couple of seasons of The Mandalorian, was that she left the New Republic even though she knew she believed in their cause, wanted them to succeed, but she left because they were a bureaucratic nightmare. And it's not like they were worse than the Empire in her view. They weren't. She hates the Empire, clearly. It's just that she doesn't want to fight the Empire on the terms of the New Republic because those terms are stupid. I love that. I love that. It was a really great... and then she was considering coming back into the New Republic in some capacity as a ranger and all of that stuff. And man, there was so much potential there that we're not going to see. And I'm really disappointed that we're not going to see it. But what are you going to do?
I'm surprised the leader of the mages wasn't at the conclave.
Yes. You were supposed to be, and yet somehow you avoided death.
Uh-oh.
As did the Lord Seeker.
Hello.
Note. Both of us sent negotiators in
Where are
our
you going?
stead in case it was a trap. I won't pretend I'm not glad to live. I lost many dear friends that day. It disgusts me to think the Templars will get away with it. I'm hoping you won't let them.
So you think the Templars are responsible?
Why wouldn't she?
Fair point.
Lucius hardly seems broken up over his losses, if he's concerned about them at all. You heard him. You think he wouldn't happily kill the Divine to turn people against us?
Ooh, that's
So
a
yes,
little far.
I think he did it. More than I think you did it, at any rate.
Does that mean the mages will help us?
We are willing to discuss it with the Inquisition at least. Consider this an invitation to Redcliffe. Come, meet with the mages. An alliance could help us both, after all. I hope to see you there. Au revoir, my Lady Herald.
Oh, okay. Oh, we'll do that.
Let us return to Haven.
Well, first we'll do the thing with the red jennies, because apparently somebody's after us. A baddie. Baddie, so to speak. And, the Templar Order, traditional role, often portrayed as stoic and... Alright. This loads too fast, damn it. Let's... Oh, hello.
The Inquisition's herald!
Well, they know who I work for, at least. Where are the hounds? Who lost the hounds?
Hounds? I don't want to deal with hounds. Where are you whooshing, Solus? I'm so... Erica says it's the chest, isn't it, Kevin? Oh, man. Well... He would not be... Kevin would not be the only one if that's the case. That is a common reason to like in Corano and even the character.
Herald of Andraste, how much did you expend to discover me? It must have weakened the Inquisition immeasurably.
Literally
I don't know
nothing.
who you are.
You don't fool me. I'm too important for this to be an accident. My efforts will survive in victories against you elsewhere.
Eh?
Just say what?
What is that?
Wee.
Ugh.
Squishy one, but you heard me, right? Just say what? Rich tits always try for more than they deserve.
Blah, blah, blah. Obey me. Arrow in my face. So, you followed the notes well enough. Glad to see you're kind of plain, really. All that talk, and then you're just a person. I mean, it's all good, isn't it? The important thing is you glow. You're the herald thingy.
The herald thingy. Kevin says, ha! Well, actually, I think she's smart and based, IRL. That is true. But yeah, that doesn't hurt. What? So, this here is the aforementioned most annoying character in the series. There may be a spammer in the chat. Just keep an eye on that Gene Stone. Or what appears to be a spam link. No one click that, please.
Sure, why not? I glow. What's going on?
No idea. I don't know this idiot from Manners. My people just said the Inquisition should look at him.
Look at him.
Elves?
No. People. Name's Sarah. This is cover. Get round it. For the reinforcements. Don't worry. Someone tipped me their equipment shed. They've got no breaches.
Ah, crap. Okay.
Friends really came through with that tip.
No breaches.
So, Herald of Andraste. You're a strange one. I'd like to join.
Could we take a few moments for sense to reassert itself? Who are you people?
I'm not people, but I get what you want. It's like this. I sent you a note to look for hidden stuff by my friends. The Friends of Red Jenny. That's me. Well, I'm one. So is a fence in Montfort, some woman in Kirkwall. There were 3 in Starkhaven, brothers or something. It's just a name, yeah? It lets little people, friends, be part of something while they stick it to nobles they hate. So here, in your face, I'm Sarah. The Friends of Red Jenny are sort of out there. I used them to help you. Plus arrows.
Peasants? Sneaky peasants. I really hope they're not all as annoying as she is.
The Inquisition has spies already. Can you add to these professionals?
Here's how it is. You important people are up here, shoving your cods around. Blah, blah, I'll crush you. I'll crush you. Ooh, crush you. Then you've got
Excuse me?
cloaks and spy kings, like this tit. Or was he one of the little knives, all serious with his little knife? All those secrets, and what gave him up? Some houseboy who don't know shite, but knows a bad person when he sees one. So no, I'm not knifey shiv dark, all hidden. If you don't listen down here too, you risk your breeches. Like those guards, I stole their... Look, do you need
On
people
with
or
it.
not? I want to get everything back to normal. Like you.
Wow, okay.
Back there you wanted to know if I glowed. Why?
That's what you do, innit? You walked out of somewhere and now you glow. Andraste's herald. True or not, it seemed like the easiest way to know it was you.
True or not?
Well, that's what they say and all. Look, don't get ahead, yeah? I want to help this... whatever it is. Inquisition.
So who are your Friends of Red Jenny? You must know them.
It's not hard to understand if you're not trying to waste your day on it. Someone little always hates someone big. And unless you don't eat, sleep or piss, you're never far from someone little. Doesn't always work out, but a lot of people hated this guy. Someone got a laugh, someone got even, someone got paid. And someone has to have explained to them that free help is good.
I mean, fair enough there, but man, this whole thing is driven by weird envy and resentment. Kylie says, hey y'all, I'm gonna head to bed. Tomorrow's last day of work before next semester. Ooh, fun. It'll be nice to be off, I have to say. Good night, y'all. Love the live stream. Can't wait for the next one. Good night, Kylie. See you next time. Yeah, I get ya. enjoy the break. Well, last bit of work before the break. That. Yeah, this whole thing seems driven by resentment. It's well,
You sound like a thief who acts out petty revenge fantasies. And that might be bad.
Oh, right. You want to prop that guy up so I can say my sorries? Bad things should happen to bad people. We find someone not so bad, maybe he'll end up not so dead. Good enough?
You say that like it's obvious, but you didn't know him.
I knew about him.
That's just rumor.
Look, I'd have been fine stripping his guards and nicking his stuff. Turns out he deserved worse. Or was him trying to kill you a good thing? Are you the baddie? Didn't think so.
Fair point, I guess, for the moment, but like, this guy, that wasn't so bad. He was literally trying to kill us with fireballs, so fine. And everything involved in this, the whole Friends of Red Jenny thing, is very, very much centered around a resentment, technically, if we're going for, you know, existential terminology and all that. But yeah, it's envy and resentment all the way down. I am going to let her join for two reasons. One, to have the character here, because just for gameplay reasons, it's good. Gameplay and story reasons, it's good to have all of the characters actually be around. But more practically, the reason that Sable would, I think, have her join the Inquisition is because, yes, this is useful to have people like this. But at the same time, it would be far more dangerous to the Inquisition to have people like this around, but not working for the Inquisition. That's dangerous. That's incredibly dangerous. Very obviously. Because the Inquisition is big people, to use her terms. And if we have little people like this, a whole network of them, who may wind up turning against the Inquisition, that's even more dangerous. So if nothing else, we should have her join to keep an eye on her. So she and her other friends of Red Jenny are not being utterly destructive of all of the good things the Inquisition is doing.
All right, Sarah. I can use you and your friends.
Yes! Getting good before you're too big to like. That'll keep your breeches where they should be. Plus extra breeches because I have all these... You have merchants who buy that piss, yeah? Got to be worth something. Anyway, Haven. See you there, Herald. This will be grand.
Yes, but you didn't take their weapons. Let's not take her with us. Okay, finish looting. My God. Where was that? There was a, oh, it's up there. Okay. Too many breaches. Great. Cumulative dexterity. We can maybe give that to Varric. Or we'll give it to Sarah when the time comes. If Varric already has something good, I forget if he does. All right. There. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I guess Haven, yeah? What's this? Oh, let's go to the Ghislaine Estates. Vivienne de Fer. Yeah, let's do that. We might as well. We will eventually go back to Haven. But let's go and meet Vivienne first. This is another neat one. This is one I actually enjoyed. I like Vivienne. She's actually a little less popular, honestly, as a companion, I think, than Sarah. And I think that's partially just because a lot of the Dragon Age fandom, no offense here, is kind of insufferable as well. So, they like the whole prototype PB, if I may state it that way. Oh god, I'm going into an estate like this wearing armor. Ooh. Do not look
Lady
classy.
Trevelyan of Ostwick, representing the Inquisition.
I do not look very classy here.
What a pleasure to meet you, my lady. Seeing the same faces at every event becomes so tiresome. So you must be a guest of Madame de Fer, or are you here for Duc Bastien?
Are you here on business? I have heard the most curious tales of you. I cannot imagine half of them are true.
I kind of like... I have to say, I kind of like Orlesian fashion. The layering of it is really nice.
Some say that when the veil opened, Andraste herself delivered you from the Fade.
Well, yeah, probably.
I'm not familiar with that name. I was invited here by First Enchanter Vivienne.
Madame de Fer is a fond nickname the court has given Lady Vivienne.
I've heard she finds it amusing.
I've heard very little about Duke Bastien.
He hasn't been seen much at court lately.
His business with the Council of Heralds often takes him from home for long periods. It can't be good for a man of his years.
And of course, there's the civil war. Bastien probably wishes to distance himself from the actions of his one-time son-in-law.
Tearing up the Dales in a foolish bid for power? It will end in disgrace for Gaspard. Everyone knows it.
His former son-in-law, Gaspard. Gaspard is someone we will deal with at some point.
Everything you've heard? Completely true.
Better and better. The Inquisition should attend more of these parties.
We will. We will.
The Inquisition. What a lot of pig shit.
Why do you have a rapier on your back?
Washed
It's
up
ridiculous.
sisters and crazed seekers. No one can take them seriously. Everyone knows it's just an excuse for a bunch of political outcasts to grab power.
I was chosen by Andraste herself to carry out the Maker's will.
You dare to speak of the Maker's will, with foul magic dripping from your hands. We know what your Inquisition truly is. If you were a woman of honor, you'd step outside and answer the charges.
My dear Marquis, how unkind of you to use such language in my house to my guests.
Oh. Well.
You know such rudeness is intolerable.
Madame Vivienne, I humbly beg your pardon.
See, I like her.
You should.
This is how to deal
Whatever
with
am I going to do with you, my
political
dear?
machinations.
My lady, you're the wounded party in this unfortunate affair. What would you have me do with this foolish, foolish man?
The Marquis doesn't interest me. Do whatever you like with him.
Poor Marquis. Issuing challenges and hurling insults like some Ferelden doglord. And all dressed up in your Aunt Solange's doublet. Didn't she give you that to wear to the Grand Tourney?
Oof.
To think all the brave chevaliers who will be competing left for Markham this morning. And you're still here. Were you hoping to sate your damaged pride by defeating the Herald of Andraste in a public duel? Or did you think her blade could put an end to the misery of your failure? Run along, my dear. Do give my regards to your aunt. I'm delighted you could attend this little gathering. I've so wanted to meet you. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Vivienne, first enchanter of Montsimard and enchantress to the Imperial Court.
Is that Marquis going to pose a problem?
His aunt is the Vicomtesse of Mont de Glace. Not a powerful family, but well respected. And very devout. Alphonse will be disowned for this. It's not the first time he's brought his aunt disgrace, but I'm sure it'll be the last. And after such a public humiliation, I expect he'll run off to the Dales to join the Empress's war effort. Either to make a good end, or to win back a modicum of self-respect.
Your salon has certainly exceeded my expectations so far.
I'm glad to keep you entertained, my dear. I wanted to meet face to face. It is important to consider one's connections carefully. With Divine Justinia dead, the Chantry is in shambles. Only the Inquisition might restore sanity and order to our frightened people. As the leader of the last loyal mages of Thedas, I feel it only right that I lend my assistance to your cause.
Kevin says, dang, she straight up castrated that guy. At least not literally. But in Orlais, in a place like this, might as well have. Yeah, I really like... Vivienne has a very strange combination of directness and political maneuvering. On the one hand, she's incredibly direct with how she does things, but she still does things through the sort of proper channels of Orlesian high politics of the game. But she's very direct about it, unlike somebody like Leliana, who is very underhanded about everything. Everything is masked, and everything's wrapped in layers of misdirection and mystery. Whereas with Vivienne, everything is very upfront. She knows exactly what's going on, and she's doing exactly what needs to be done for it, but still doing it in this kind of circumlocutus way of playing the game, which is really the game being the name for Orlesian power politics. It's really, really cool. I like her. I really do like her. And she provides a really weird role as a kind of conservative voice, a pro-chantry mage, as we'll find out gradually. She's really good. She's a really, really good character in general. Also, her eventually her specialization class is unbelievably good. She's a battle mage, basically. Frontline, big flaming magic sword mage, which is crazy. Really cool. Anyway, that's neat. No.
What exactly can you do for the Inquisition?
I am well versed in the politics of the Orlesian Empire. I know every member of the Imperial Court personally. I have all the resources remaining to the Circle at my disposal. And I'm a mage of no small talent. Will that do?
Does that mean you'd be aiding the Inquisition from the Imperial Palace?
Ordinarily, I would be happy to serve as liaison to the court, but these are not ordinary times. The veil has been ripped apart and there is a hole in the sky. It is now the duty of every mage to work towards sealing the breach. And so I would join the Inquisition on the field of battle.
Cool. Like I said, very direct, but knows how to do things in the circuitous Orlesian way.
You say you led the last of the loyal mages. Loyal to whom?
To the people of Thedas, of course. We have not forgotten the commandment, as some have, that magic exists to serve man. I support any effort to restore such order.
So you're in favor of returning the mages to the Circle, then?
Where else can mages safely learn to master their talents? We need an institution to protect and nurture magic. Maker knows, magic will find neither on its own.
Are you devout? What's your opinion of the Chantry?
I was a great admirer of the late Divine Justinia V. The Chantry, at its best, unites the disparate cultures of Thedas and looks after its most vulnerable. Had she lived, Justinia could have accomplished so much.
You are aware that the Chantry hasn't sanctioned this Inquisition.
The Chantry is leaderless. They're in no position to officially sanction anything.
I mean, to be fair,
Besides,
Justinia did.
my dear, if there is one virtue the Chant of Light teaches us, it is forgiveness. Once the Inquisition has sealed the breach, I am sure the new Divine will not care in the slightest about official permission.
Wonderful.
The Inquisition will be happy to have you, Lady Vivienne.
Great things are beginning, my dear. I can promise you that.
See, I told you, I really like her. Really, I like all of the mages in Inquisition. Vivienne, Solus, and Dorian, who we haven't met yet, are all really interesting characters. Emperor Florian, Enchanters. Oh, this is the song. Lyrics to the song. Okay. We're back at Haven. Let's see what all is going on.
You there. There's a shield in your hand. Block with it. If this man were your enemy, you'd be dead. Lieutenant, don't hold back. The recruits must prepare for a real fight, not a practice one.
Yes, Commander.
We've received a number of recruits. Locals from Haven and some pilgrims. None made quite the entrance you did.
Okay, so here's another thing. Those swords are really cool, but the whole fork thing, the 2 points, is wildly impractical as well. So, yeah. Cool, but again, wildly impractical. Without the fork, they'd be neat. They'd be more or less Celtic one-handed swords.
I just hope I can help.
As do we all. It is enough that you would try.
By the way, Erica, this
I
is
was
Cullen.
recruited to the
We're talking to
Inquisition
Cullen.
in Kirkwall myself. I was there during the Mage Uprising. I saw firsthand the devastation it caused. Sir. Cassandra sought a solution. When she offered me a position, I left the Templars to join her cause. Now it seems we face something far worse.
You left the Templars for this. You believe the Inquisition can work?
I do. The Chantry lost control of both Templars and Mages. Now they argue over a new divine while the breach remains. The Inquisition could act when the Chantry cannot. Our followers would be part of that. There's so much we can... Forgive me. I doubt you came here for a lecture.
Will says, did you know Cullen's voice actor was in Pirates of the Caribbean? I had no idea. Who did he play? I actually don't quite recognize it from there. Was he one of the British? He was in the first 4 movies. Wow, really? First 4. I'm assuming a fairly major character then if he was in all 4 all of the first 4. Well, let's flirt with him until we can decide between him and Blackwall. Let's just go with that.
No, but if you have one prepared, I'd love to hear it.
Another time, perhaps.
The little grin was hilarious.
Still a lot of work ahead.
Commander, Sir Ryden has a report on our supply lines.
As I was saying.
Oh my gosh, that is as close to a me gusta face as I've almost ever seen in a video game. Oh gosh. Who else is over here that we're supposed to talk to? Oh, Cassandra. Okay.
Ugh.
That's her signature line, by the way.
I think you need practice dummies made of sturdier stuff.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Like maybe iron.
Did I do the right thing? What I have set in motion here could destroy everything I have revered my whole life. One day they may write about me as a traitor, a madwoman, a fool, and they may be right.
What does your faith tell you?
I believe you are innocent. I believe more is going on here than we can see. And I believe no one else cares to do anything about it. They will stand in the fire and complain that it is hot.
Yeah.
But is this the Maker's will? I can only guess.
I really liked that line. That was great. Will says he plays the officers that says the famous memeable line, "That must be the best pirate I've ever seen." Or was it worst pirate I've ever seen? The guy who's not Not Beckett, but Beckett's like right-hand guy? Yeah, okay, that sounds really... Yes. I'm hearing it now.
You don't think I'm the Herald of Andraste?
I think you were sent to help us. I hope you were. But the Maker's help takes many forms. Sometimes it's difficult to discern who it truly benefits, or how.
Will then says also, incidentally, he was also the first person to defend Johnny Depp when the whole Amber Heard thing happened. He has a channel on YouTube where he had podcasts and stuff on the matter. Wow, cool. Very cool.
What's going to happen now?
Now we find allies to help us close the breach, if that is even possible. And if there are consequences to be paid for what I have done, I pay them. I only pray the price is not too high.
Wait, Erica, which part was awkward? That's basically how Sable flirts. Oh, the face? You mean the smile? But yes, that is how Sable flirts.
You didn't have any choice.
Didn't I? My trainers always said, Cassandra, you are too brash. You must think before you act. I see what must be done.
I heard you laughing in there, by the way.
I see no point in running around in circles like a dog chasing its tail. But I misjudged you in the beginning, did I not? I thought the answer was before me, clear as day. I cannot afford to be so careless again.
It wasn't like you had no reason to suspect me.
I was determined to have someone answer for what happened. Anyone. You've said you believe you're chosen. Does that mean you believe in the Maker?
I believe he exists.
That's comforting. Surely the Maker put us both on this path for a reason. Now it simply remains to see where it leads us.
All right. Okay. Well. Oh, there's some mages starting to gather. That's good. So another thing I noticed. So speaking of speaking of the subversion of once great franchises and such, have you guys been watching the stuff about D&D and the various changes they've been implementing in already published books through errata? Basically eliminating anything that might be bad about evil races. Anything evil about evil races, like, you know, how illithids, mind flayers are no longer inhuman monsters. They're cool, nice brain-eating tentacle faces. Things like that. Which is deeply disturbing, especially because they are retroactively editing people's ebooks that they have through D&D Beyond. Irrevocably and without the owner's consent or permission or anything like that. It's really sketchy. It's really creepy. I really do not like that. I don't like seeing that kind of thing. There's something over here? No? Okay. There might have been a neat secret. Yeah, not a fan of that at all, especially the weird, surreptitious deletion of the past. It's another, what was it? It was, I'll put a Critical Drinker video, I'll link to, where he talks about, this kind of behavior, talking about how editing the past, or maybe a couple of them, where he talks about how editing the past, especially underhandedly, sneakily, surreptitiously, is incredibly dangerous to our culture. It's destructive to the way that we understand ourselves and the way art is made. And it also winds up being a kind of self-destruction of the hobby as well, right? It's where, very clearly, the existing fan base for D&D hates this. Hates that it's happening and hates how it's happening. Will says, isn't that against the whole point of D&D's moral alignments on top of going against authors' wishes possibly? Yes, and yes. They're also eliminating alignment. They've been gradually eliminating alignment since 5th edition started, but they are looking towards completely eliminating alignment as a whole. So...
Need something?
Yeah, that's happening. Basically what's happening, what I see happening is they are alienating, maybe intentionally alienating the actual base, their actual fan base, in favor of, I guess, attracting new people who align with them ideologically, with the message, as Drinker would say. The Critical Drinker, I mean, whose video I'm going to link about this whole thing. Where the problem with this, of course, being that they will wind up just driving off real fans who've been playing the hobby, playing D&D forever, and attracting no one, because people who are interested in the message have no interest in actually purchasing or actually participating in these sorts of things. They just want it to look like they want it to look, and that's it. Now, that said, maybe they'll have some success, because there is a huge degeneracy problem in nerd culture. D&D especially, tabletop gaming especially. Not as much as, like, Vampire the Masquerade and stuff like that, I have to say, but still, it's a big problem. So maybe there's enough of a little minuscule fan base for this to go over well. But man, it's annoying when they do this sort of thing. Kevin says that's a major problem with storytelling these days. There's no truly evil monsters, villains anymore. The conservative white males. Everything is being made sympathetic. Yeah, pretty much. Look at Cruella. You can't even have the woman who wanted to kill and skin puppies because she liked fur be evil and irredeemable. You can't have Maleficent, whose name literally means evil, be evil. She has to be a sympathetic pseudo-villain, but not even really a villain. All this kind of weird moral inversion that we're seeing. I hate it. Will says, wow, I already didn't like 5th edition much, but if this is the future of D&D, then I'll be losing interest fast. I like the mechanics of 5th edition. I actually like the mechanics of 5th edition better than 3.5, which is the previous version I played for a lot of years. Overall, I like 5th edition. The lore that they are now ham-fistedly shoving in is just awful. Will says, I wonder if they'd retroactively do so with their older games, such as Baldur's Gate, if they could. Okay, so remember when we were playing Dragon Age 2, and I had that side quest where you talk to the the mage trying to run away from the circle? Excuse me. Who was trying to spend a night with a woman of the evening, so to speak, in hopes that she would, quote, make him a man. And I was deeply, deeply concerned that they had patched out Meryl's line about that's not how making you a man works, that being a man is all about having the right bits in the first place, which in current year is horrifyingly transphobic. But this game came out in 2011, back when the world was relatively sane, and when that was a relatively progressive thing to say. I was really deeply concerned that they had edited the line out, but it turns out that I had just had the wrong companions with me or something. I found the line. But that is a distinct possibility that problematic aspects can be just subtly edited out of things. It's a real danger. But I mean, I don't know. I think there's hope. I think there is hope for media, if only because I think that the woke media stuff is going to be self-destructive. It's going to eat itself very quickly, very efficiently. Going to eat itself. Best example I can think of is Wheel of Time. Look at the Wheel of Time and look at the massive down spiral it's been on lately. The last couple of episodes have been crappier and crappier as it's gone by. And a lot of it is because they're promoting the message over the story. And they're making changes for no other reason than to make it, I hate to overuse the term, but wokeify it, you know? And the last episode from last week, from last Friday, it portrays the Aes Sedai, and in particular the Amelin Seat, as a horrifyingly hostile and tyrannical matriarchy with all sorts of benevolent-ish tyranny, all kinds of relational aggression, basically everything that you could possibly see as being wrong with women with absolute power, which is the case in that setting, right? And it makes sense why. It makes sense within the setting why there are these politically and magically powerful women. Make perfect sense, but holy crap, do they portray it negatively, but only negatively to sane people. Because they portray this in a positive light as being this kind of apotheosis of the feminine ruler, the feminist ruler. And it's meant to look good to a feminist, but anyone with a even slightly properly attuned moral compass is going to see it and say, that's horrifying, that is evil. You're portraying them as monsters. But they don't see it. So the mask is slipping. And I think there's hope there. I really think there is hope there. Kevin says, I just saw the new Ghostbusters, and I couldn't help but laugh about how the main antagonist was supposed to be non-binary. Oh, I didn't even know that. I haven't seen it yet. I kind of want to. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I'm surprised they would make a villain non-binary. That's surprising, honestly. Honestly surprising. Seems like it almost conflicts with the message. I don't know. Yeah, Will says they cloud it within empowerment. Yeah, they sure do. They really do. Oh, and of course, the for no really good reason changing the sexuality of main characters, but only in the one direction, of course. If you haven't seen it, they turn a couple of significant characters gay and together where there wasn't really much reason to do that, and it also will severely disrupt things later on in the story if they ever get that far. They don't care about that though. It's the message, man. Representation, even if it's representation of heinous and immoral monsters. No, they gotta fit in the really, really, really cringe lesbian sex scene, because of course they do. Which, by modern television standards, is relatively tasteful. I hate that I'm saying that, but relatively tasteful. Anyway, the other hope I see is if you know me, you know how much I hate to say something like this, because you know how much I hate to put my trust in anything political. But the other hope I see is Governor Ron DeSantis in particular. Being in Florida, I get to see this all up close and personal, and stuff like his Stop Woke Act, which is, I think, exactly the right approach for the various critical theory infiltrations, wokeism infiltration into the institutions, especially public institutions, but private as well. Where basically what it does is what the law does is it allows people to sue schools and employers for imposing critical race theory, broadly speaking, critical theory more broadly, not just critical race theory, but critical theory. Whether that means parents can sue schools for teaching it or teaching under those rubrics, whether that means employees can now sue their employers for things like diversity, inclusion, and equity, sensitivity training and stuff. If they impose that kind of thing, employees can sue their employers in Florida. This is handling it through tort law. It's not just criminalizing something. It is allowing private citizens to bring a lawsuit for harm done. It's allowing, especially in the case of schools, which I really like, it's allowing parents to basically sue schools for malpractice, because parents are being sold a bill of goods, right? Saying that we're going to teach our children this, that, and the other thing. But when they do something else, when they do something different, when they train students to hate themselves and hate their parents and hate hate everything about their society and their culture and everything, hate God, functionally, parents can sue them for what amounts to educational malpractice. It is as close to a proper libertarian solution to the problem as I could possibly ask for. I like it. I like it a lot. Because also, here's the other thing. Parents who don't mind don't have to sue anyone. If they don't see harm done, they're not going to bring charges for harm being done. So it'll only be people who are in fact harmed by it that will seek compensation for it. Court law. Basically libertarian legal theory. And it's also, fascinatingly, a way of punishing what one might call institutional heresy through something like libertarian legal norms, which is something that is so difficult to do, but is probably something that we have to figure out how to do. I'm really impressed. I'm really impressed by how he did it. I love it. Absolutely love it. All right, let's talk to Varric really quick about some things, mostly Hawke. See how Hawke's doing.
I read your Tale of the Champion, and I have a few questions.
That's a pretty common reaction. Go ahead.
Will says, let's hope that the Frankfurtian poison can be extracted from Florida. My home country is too far gone, I'm afraid. What's your home country? If it's Canada, then you're right. Unfortunately. The Great White North has fallen long ago. But Florida, there's hope here.
There's no way Hawke really could have killed the Arashok. It would have started a war with the Kunari.
I was told later that the Kunari disavowed his actions. Apparently the Arashok didn't get permission before he attacked Kirkwall, and the Qun didn't want another exalted march. When they finally sent a ship to haul the wrecked dreadnought away, they just said, "We will never speak of this again." As far as I can tell, that's the Qun's version of an apology.
That's so badass.
In the book, you say that first Enchanter Orsino turned himself into a giant monster made of corpses. How? Why?
Do I look like an expert on magical weirdness to you? I can't tell you how. For the why, all I can say is he was desperate.
Where are the rest of Hawke's associates now?
Meryl decided to look after the elves left homeless by the fighting. She's done a pretty good job of keeping them away from the mages and Templars, so far. I guess she has plenty of practice avoiding stupid human battles with her old Dalish clan. Fenris has kept himself busy, hunting down the Tevinter slavers who came south to prey on the refugees. I'm not sure exactly where he is at the moment. You can usually follow the trail of corpses, though.
Probably right to
Isabella went
Tevinter,
back to the
at least for the next game.
She's calling herself an admiral now. I don't know if she's actually in charge or just has a really big hat. Might be the same thing, honestly.
Speaking of Pirates of the Caribbean.
Sebastian went back to Starkhaven. I'm sure he's boring all sorts of people there. Hawke's little brother was off on some warden business near the Anderfell's border last I knew. Aveline is still guard captain. I'm pretty sure Kirkwall would fall into the sea if she quit her job.
Nice. All right. More questy things. Let's see how Sarah is settling in. She's over here, I think. Brazil. Granted, we do have a growing libertarian movement, which I'd say is far closer to what libertarianism actually stands for when compared to some places out there. That is true. I know that there's a lot of like Mises-type people, Mises Institute or otherwise, down in Brazil, and that's encouraging. In a lot of South America, actually.
Right. Wasted. Anyway, stopping wars should earn more sovereignty than this. Need things back to normal for coins to be flowing again. Another reason the Templars and Mages need to be sat down.
I'm pretty sure the Conclave proved it's not that easy.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
Why? Because someone yelled it real loud? Make them prove it. They're too busy to look up where the real questions are.
Kevin says, there's always hope. Wokeism can linger on for a long time and cause misery, but it's doomed to fall by nature. Of course it is. Of course it is. It's untrue. No other reason than it is untrue. That's all you need. Truth will out. And if you don't have faith in that, I don't know what you can have faith in.
Is there something else you're looking for? Like, what's behind all this?
Maybe. I don't know. First things first, right? I help you, march, arrow, kick. Then people stop being stupid, and everything starts to make sense again. Sound good to you, old-touched Lady Herald?
Wow, she is, she's I just want to grill. There's actually something about that I find a little bit admirable, despite myself. I usually don't like her very much at all, as we know. But she's a radical centrist. She just wants all of the craziness to stop so she can go back to, well, the equivalent of grilling. Which is stealing from people, but still.
I'm committed to putting an end to this crisis. Whatever it takes.
It's why I'm here, yeah? This is where it gets done. Whatever it is. Can't do a bloody thing with everyone pissing themselves. Stupid everyone.
Okay. Yeah, well, fair enough, I guess. Alright. Onward. Let's see what Solus is up to before we do a mission or two.
Closing the breach is our primary goal. But I hope we might also discover what was used to create it. Any artifact of such power is dangerous. The destruction of the Conclave proves that much.
Probably had something to do with the glowy mark.
You don't think whatever created the explosion was destroyed in the blast?
You survived, did you not? The artifact that created the breach is unlike anything seen in this age. I will not believe it destroyed until I see the shattered fragments with my own eyes.
Oh, you will. Will says, I sometimes like Sarah and sometimes hate her, but I guess it's just what her character entails. Yeah, honestly, it's like 80-20 hate and love for me. Once in a while, she has her great moments, but most of the time, good lord, is she insufferable. She's kind of, in BioWare terms, if we're looking at, say, Mass Effect Andromeda by comparison, which came out a couple of years after this, she seems to me like the prototype version of PB. And she's honestly more enough. But Sarah, most of the time, not so much. Most of the time. Like I said, though, there are moments. She has her moments that I don't hate. But man, a lot of the time, jeez.
Anything with that kind of power is bound to show up sooner or later.
Liliana's people have scoured the area near the blast.
Excuse me for that, sorry.
Whatever the artifact was, it is no longer there. In any case, did you need me for anything?
Not at the moment.
We'll talk later.
We already talked about a lot of that. Whee.
Greetings, Herald of Andraste.
Any requisition stuff? Hinterlands. We need Drakestone. Not gonna find that yet.
How about nails? Can Harry at least get me a few small nails by tomorrow?
Her interactions with Solus are funny. That is true. She hates elves. She's a self-loathing elf. And that's at least that is definitely something interesting about her character, if nothing else.
Blessed are the peacekeepers, the champions of the just. Blessed are the righteous, the lights in the shadow. In their blood, the Maker's will is written. Is that what you want from us? Blood. To die so that your will is done? Is death your only blessing?
You speak for Andraste, no? What does the Maker's prophet have to say about all of this? What's his game?
If I recall, Liliana got visions directly from the Maker. Or at least so she thought, in Origins. So she should be as much of an expert on this as we are.
How is this a game? Do you see the sky? What about the temple ruins? The bones lying in the dust? Even if you didn't support the Divine's peace, you wouldn't call this right. Who
So
could?
sorry for laughing.
So many innocent
I'll
lives.
explain in a moment.
The faithful murdered where the holiest of holies once stood. If the Maker willed this, what is it if not a game or a cruel joke?
So, the bones lying in the dust, for some reason, maybe have to suppress a bit of a chuckle, and I really apologize for that, because that was a really good dramatic moment, but I'm so sorry, because it reminded me of Norm Macdonald's 9/11 joke, where he's talking about how he had to wade through blood and bones after the towers fell, all the stories came crashing down. When he was in New York City, and he was wading through blood and bones, trying to find his brother. Turned out he was in northern Canada. God, if you haven't seen Norm Macdonald's 9/11 jokes, they're horrifyingly dark and absolutely hilarious. Another thing I'll put a link to in the description after the stream. But man, it's funny, and it's wildly inappropriate, and got me to laugh at. And just even remembering it gets me laughing at wildly inappropriate things.
Awful things happen every day. Get used to it.
That wasn't exactly
Get
the
used to
delivery I
being
wanted,
born,
but okay.
To be discarded when the Maker's done with you? The Chantry teaches that the Maker abandoned us. He demands repentance for our sins. He demands it all. Our lives, our deaths. Justinia gave him everything she had, and he let her die.
Will says that was one of the things about Liliana which was weird in Dragon Age Inquisition. Her character seems to regress, though I believe it has to do with the trauma of Justinia's death. And also Norm was hilarious. Yeah, I agree on both counts. I'm fairly certain that, I mean, we even find a lot about her having to deal with Justinia dying. And Justinia was really a sort of beacon of light for Liliana between Origins and now. And how without Justinia, she starts to revert to her old bard ways, like pre-Origins, like Liliana's song kind of ways. And you can encourage her or discourage her like on that, and we'll do that gradually, and see how that all goes. Bill says in front of his Clinton jokes were so funny, even Bill laughed at them in front of Hillary. Yes, that was fantastic. The bit on The View, when he was on The View, like in 1999 or whatever, and where he was talking about, like, on The View, on live national television, when he was talking about how Bill Clinton killed a guy. It was like, oh man, and they just, the View, the ladies just hated him for that. It's hilarious.
I'm sorry. Her death has clearly hit you hard.
Not just me. All of us. She was the divine. She led the faithful. She was their heart. If the Maker doesn't intervene to save the best of his servants, what good is he? I used to believe I was chosen, just as some say you are. I thought I was fulfilling his purpose for me, working with the divine, helping people. But now she's dead. It was all for nothing. Serving the Maker meant nothing.
Maybe you have another purpose. I could help you find it.
No, this is my burden. I regret that I even let you see me like this. It was a moment of weakness. It won't happen again. Come, to work then. We will speak later.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, I think that it's largely in response to the trauma of Justinia's death. Almost entirely, really. It's a crisis of faith, really.
Returned. At least we know how to approach the Mages and Templars now.
Do we? Lord Seeker Lucius is not the man I remember.
True, he has taken the Order somewhere, but to do what? My reports have been very odd.
We must look into it. I'm certain not everyone in the Order will support the Lord Seeker.
Or the Herald could simply go to meet the mages in Redcliffe instead.
You think the Mage Rebellion is more united? It could be 10 times worse.
I don't want to choose now. We'll choose next week. Someone tell me. I'm leaning very strongly towards the mages, but at the same time, we'll hold off until next week because we don't have to choose just yet.
Or you could stop bickering and make a decision.
I agree.
We shouldn't discount Redcliffe. The mages may be worth the risk.
They are powerful, Ambassador, but more desperate than you realize.
So it'll be dangerous. I've been in danger since I walked out of the Fade.
If some among the rebel mages were responsible for what happened at the Conclave...
The same could be said about the Templars.
True enough. Right now, I'm not certain we have enough influence to approach the Order safely.
Then the Inquisition needs agents in more places. That's something you can help with.
In the meantime, we should consider other options.
Yeah, Will says, I also recall that Liliana was considered a borderline heretic because she believed the Maker worked miracles which went against Treachery Canon.
Several months ago,
yeah, something like
the
that.
Grey Wardens of Ferelden vanished. I sent word to those in Orlais, but they have also disappeared. Ordinarily, I wouldn't even consider the idea they're involved in all this, but the timing is curious.
Well, you did deal with the, you did work quite closely with the Hero of Ferelden. So there's that. Yeah, so the not only the Maker working miracles, because the Maker abandoned the world, abandoned humanity, because of the Blight, because of the Tevinter Magisters entering the Golden City and all that, but also speaking to her. So if the Maker sent her visions in particular, that means two things. One, the Maker is not, even though the Maker has abandoned the world, it has approached her. And that's an implication that the Maker hasn't abandoned the whole world. Further, it is putting herself, right, Liliana, by saying that she has gotten visions directly from the Maker, is putting herself on a sort of level with Andraste, as having the Maker's attention, which is, again, of course, considered to be heretical. So at this point, it seems like she's turned her back on a lot of that, but not out of a kind of out of a concern for being heretical, but rather out of a sort of, like I said, crisis of faith. So what about the Grey Wardens?
That does sound odd. I agree.
The others have disregarded my suspicion, but I cannot ignore it. 2 days ago, my agents in the Hinterlands heard news of a Grey Warden by the name of Blackwall.
Ooh, guess we're finding next week.
Opportunity. Please seek him out. Perhaps he can put my mind at ease.
And if he can't?
Then there may be more going on than we thought.
Right? So that means next week, next week, we have to go after Blackwall, and we have to go after Iron Bull. We're almost out of time. Let me see what this is. Oh, hey, here's Krem. About Iron Bull.
Excuse me. I've got a message for the Inquisition, but I'm having a hard time getting anyone to talk to me.
What's the message?
We've got word of some Tevinter mercenaries gathering out on the Storm Coast. My company commander, Iron Bull, offers the information free of charge. If you'd like to see what the Bull's charges can do for the Inquisition, meet us there and watch us work.
Will says there are some pretty weird implications if you kill her in Origins. Yeah, the whole lyrium ghost thing is kind of the implication, which is really strange. And I don't like it. But I don't like the implications of the whole lyrium ghost thing, but they gotta do what they gotta do. Because she plays a huge, major role in this game, and there's the option of killing her in Origins, so, yeah. What are you gonna do?
What should I know about your commander?
Iron Bull. He's one of those Canari, the big guys with the horns. He leads from the front, he pays well, and he's a lot smarter than the last bastard I worked for. Best of all, he's professional. We accept contracts with whoever makes the first real offer. You're the first time he's gone out of his way to pick a side.
If I'm not mistaken, Krem is voiced by Jennifer Hale.
What can your Bull's charges offer the Inquisition?
We're loyal, we're tough, and we don't break contracts.
Femshep, by the way.
Ask around Val Royeaux. We've got references.
I look forward to meeting this Iron Bull.
We're the best you'll find. Come to the Storm Coast and you can see us in action.
Okay. We will also do that. Again, next week. We're basically out of time.
Does the dark
let's quickly, though, before we wrap up, let's talk to Vivienne. Then we'll wrap it for tonight.
I met an elven mage earlier. Solus, I believe he was called. I admit I was surprised. I didn't expect to find mages among the Inquisition.
Actually, quite a
Tell
few.
me, why were you at the Divine Conclave?
Will says they kind of allude to it with that ghost of Andraste's bodyguard in the Temple of Sacred Ashes, though, don't they? Oh, that is a good point. And your echoes, right? The mirror battle thing, that is true. That's a fair point. So, okay, I'll give you that.
The war benefits no one. It must end, and order must be restored.
All that
If
peace.
only the rebels saw things so clearly. Justinia's death has shattered the balance of power in Thedas. If it is not restored quickly, countless lives will be lost. Mages, Templars, innocent people of all kinds now look to the Inquisition to decide their fate.
I'll try not to let them down.
Failure is a luxury we cannot afford, my dear. For almost 1,000 years, the world believed it was in the hands of the Maker. And now many believe you are the agent of his will. Whatever the truth is, that belief gives you power.
I was given this blessing by Andraste herself. The power is not mine, but hers.
We can only hope she offers you better guidance than she does the rest of us. I've stolen enough of your time, my dear. Don't let me keep you.
See, I still really like her. Really like her. All right, I'll look through the war. Actually, let me just make sure that there's no cutscene here, because I'm gonna do some war table stuff in between streams. So if there's a cutscene, if there's a discussion that happens first before we actually go to the war table, I want to have done that. Okay, no, there's not. Okay, cool. That'll do it. Where is my body? That's another thing I'm going to fiddle with between now and next week, is I'm going to try and fix the mods that make that happen. Anyway. No. That's all the time we have tonight. Oh, not that. I meant that. Alright, so, like I said, it's about midnight here. That's about all the time we have tonight. So thank you all for joining me. Thank you so much. One final, if everyone wants, wish one final happy birthday to the lovely Mrs. McCoy, who's probably listening at least vaguely in the other room. And otherwise, like I said, thank you all for joining me so much, and I hope to see you guys next time. Monday, we're going to be picking back up in Greedfall, right where we left off last time, and doing still doing some cult hunting and things like that, and a couple of loyalty missions, things like that. And next week, next Thursday, we're going to be picking up right here. We're going to be going after Ironbolt. We're going to be going after Blackwall. Thank you. No one said that, but Blackwall. And then we're going to be picking a side. So if you guys have any input between now and then, please do let me know whether you think we should side with the mages or with the Templars. Like I said, I'm leaning towards the mages pretty strongly, but I am open to suggestions. So let me know if you have a very strong preference or if you have good reasons, one or the other. Anyway, thank you once more for joining me. I will see you all next time. Have a good night, everyone.